Mexico to pay for the border wall.
President Trump pushed Republican lawmakers for swift action on his first-year agenda, including building a U.S.-Mexican border wall, cutting regulations, and repealing Obamacare.
At the center of that agenda is bold tax reform that massively lowers taxes for our middle class and for all American businesses.
As for the wall, White House spokesman Sean Spicer said Mexico would pick up the cost by paying a 20% tax on all of its exports into the U.S. Mr. Trump also told lawmakers he wants to renegotiate NAFTA and spend more tax dollars on building up America's infrastructure. In Philadelphia, John Decker, Fox News.
The head of the agency that will oversee the president's border security plan is out. Here's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal.
And former Border Patrol Chief Mark Morgan reportedly told agents in a video conference call that he was asked to leave and decided to resign rather than fight to stay. Just a day after President Trump announced those plans to further the building of a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border, as well as hire more Border Patrol agents. Morgan was only in the position for a few months after leading the Border Patrol's internal affairs office. Prior to that, he was in the FBI. Morgan testified before a Senate committee a couple of months ago and said he supported comprehensive immigration reform. After that, in a letter to his agents, he clarified that this did not mean he supported blanket amnesty, Chris.
Jessica, thanks. One last round of antibiotics, and then the former President George H.W. Bush may be going home this weekend. That's according to a family spokesman. The former president's been hospitalized in Houston with pneumonia. At the closing bell on Wall Street, the Dow up 33 points, holding on over that 20,000 mark that it hit for the first time yesterday. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Pay fast with the Master Pass. Don't buy it. Master Pass it. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Simple and easy. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Don't buy it. Master Pass it. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Secure and so easy.
MasterPass, the simple, secure way to pay from MasterCard. Accepted at select merchants.
Don't buy it. MasterPass it.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape. That's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
Was arrested at his anti-Trump art project in New York.
Transformers star Shia LaBeouf was arrested after he allegedly got into an altercation with a man while protesting President Trump. LaBeouf was outside a New York City museum where he has been chanting, "He will not divide us," in front of a live camera.
He will not divide us.
LaBeouf grabbed at the scarf of a 25-year-old man, causing a scratch to the man's face, and then pushed him, which made the man fall to the ground. Police arrested LaBeouf around 12:30 Thursday morning on suspicion of misdemeanor assault and harassment. The actor was participating in a public art project live outside the museum. The project is supposed to be set for the next 4 years, 24 hours a day. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
The new president of Gambia, Adama Barrow, is now back in his country. He'd been in Senegal waiting for the now former President Yahya Jammeh to leave after losing last month's election. A milestone for Team USA in what's known as the Olympics for chefs.
A first in the history of what's arguably the most prestigious international culinary competition.
Bocuse d'Or has been happening in my hometown in Lyon.
Renowned chef Daniel Boulou on the 30-year-old contest, which has never before awarded gold to United States! It's a dream many years in the making for Chef Boulou, who along with the legendary Thomas Keller helped train and assemble American teams over the last decade. Boulou telling me back when he was gearing up for an earlier attempt.
We want to defend the fact that America today is one of the greatest countries who has one of the best food in the world.
Norway took the silver medal and Iceland won the bronze at the competition, which is held every other year. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
All the diesel that spills from a broken pipeline onto a farm in Iowa should be off the ground by the end of the day, according to a State Department of Natural Resources spokesman, with contaminated soil to be excavated and taken to a landfill. That pipeline was discovering to be leaking yesterday morning. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News Radio.
No, really.
I'm serious when I say that.
Okay. I believe you. Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Need a furnace expert? Visit Chief Bauer Service Experts. Give them a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, overcast, a low of 26 degrees. Friday, overcast, high 29, low of 24. Saturday, overcast, high 31, a low of 24. Right now, cloudy, 33 in Champaign-Urbana.
Not sunny.
Struggle for these teams, particularly for Illinois, which comes in having lost 4 of its last 5 games. The difference is Iowa is the youngest team in the Big Ten, but Illinois is very experienced, and their older players haven't been performing well, which is why John Gross is making a lineup change tonight. He's taking his 6th-year senior point guard, Tracy Abrams, out of the starting lineup. Abrams has really struggled shooting the basketball. He's inserting his freshman, Tajon Lucas, in the point guard spot. We'll see if the young fella can take advantage of this opportunity.
Milwaukee Washington High School getting his first career start tonight. The bounce down on the baseline and the jumper there for Maverick Morgan.
Well, this is a big night for Tajon Lucas.
All right, Coleman lands, launching and hitting the 3. Coleman lands in conference play, and Lucas drains his 5th 3 of the year. Limited time on the floor, limited time shooting from 3. But what a start for Illinois, up 8-0. Morgan, who set the screen, gets it back, and a 10-0 start for the home team. Finke, the deep 3, and he hits.
Yeah, I love Michael Finke's game, Kevin. Besides the man bun, I'd love him no matter how he played because he's got a man bun. But
big emphasis today for John Gross was transition defense and points off turnovers as a result of that transition D. As Finke hits again.
Man bun.
And they have led all the way through as Abrams inside, the kick into the corner for 3, and Nichols rolls it home.
And you know what? Tajon Lucas gets the hockey assist. He had a great drive and a delivery to Abrams on the baseline. And that set up the open 3 in the corner. Nice play by the freshman.
With 3:40 to go in the second half, and there's a turnover.
It's Lucas trying to do too much.
Here's Wagner to Jock. Ewell, good look inside Wagner. Awkward looking shot, but it's a 9-point game. Lucas with 5 on the shot clock. Back to Finke, 4-3. He must have heard that he got our Quicken Loans amazing performance, and he's adding to it.
Excellent recognition on everybody. Situation, shot clock, Hill to Lucas to Finke. Good team basketball.
Illinois with a big win tonight, 76-64. The Illini and Iowa both 3-5 in conference play.
All right, highlights, winning highlights, courtesy of the Big Ten Network. Seth Davis. I like listening to Seth Davis. I think he does a pretty good job. It is the Tay and J Show. Lonte, Jeremy Warner, I told you.
You feel a little taller today?
Yeah, I do.
Feel like you've gone up a rung or two? Feel like you're standing a little taller today?
Warner ladder.
Feel like you can get a dunk maybe next game?
No, I don't do that.
No, because Mav went up and
I was going to say, let's don't get out of hand here with our dunks. I told you before we started the show, I said, you know what? It is so much easier. It's so much better. I'm just a happy guy normally. I don't like to talk negative, so it's nice to talk about a victory. And I asked you, is it easier to write about a victory or a loss? I didn't know if you'd gotten used to the loss thing.
It's always good to have because Graham Couch has said this before. He goes, that Michigan State football season was actually kind of fun for him to cover.
Right, he's had it in a while.
It's so different.
Right.
It's so different. Winning is different covering Illinois. So
yeah, absolutely.
Winning is fun to cover. I would love to cover happier people, too.
Amen.
And that's why football was a little bit more fun this year, just because of the prospects of the future.
Exactly.
Basketball, I thought, was going to be a little bit more hopeful. Those, these recruits that they've been able to get has been more fun to cover. But no, I'd much rather cover a winning team right now because we haven't covered it.
No, you haven't.
In a long time, and dealing with angry fans isn't all that fun either.
It's not, but Illinois gets it done last night, 76-64. I saw on Facebook one of my buddies, he said, I'm at the Illini game trying to figure out if Illinois looks good or if I was just this bad.
I mean, if you had to grade Illinois' performance yesterday, what would it be?
I don't think it was anything great.
I would say B-.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be below C. I'd be definitely either a B, right in there.
I think Iowa was a D.
Yeah.
And it's a young team on the road, and it looks like their best player was hurt.
Yeah, he did not look.
He was
the same.
limited, but still, you took advantage of that.
You did,
and you got the big lead. You didn't really close like you wanted to. But it was fun to watch. It looked like a team that was more connected through most of the game, and it starts with the big decision to do what we've thought should happen. You know, some people have been saying this since the preseason.
Right.
You know, I was one who was saying get Tijon as much playing time as possible, you know, during the spring.
Yeah,
you're going to need him at some point during Big Ten play, and they do. But ever since Tracy's really struggled,
right.
You know, I would say this is at least 2 or 3 games too late.
I agree.
This was a tardy move, but at least John Gross didn't make the move. And you saw what Tijon Lucas does for this team. He just gives them a lot more energy.
He does.
Gives them a lot more flow. There's just a connectedness on offense. And I'll say this, he's probably the best defender at guard right now.
I agree with you.
Because Jalen Coleman-Lands doesn't guard that well, and Tracy Abrams doesn't guard that well, and I think he's more athletic and quick than Jalen Tate.
I tried to watch last night defensively. That's where I tried to focus my eyes on, not so much offensively, but defensively. There's a few things that stuck out to me. Yes, Peter Jock is limited. Yes, he looks injured. I still give Malcolm Hill credit. That kid was busting his butt all over the court. And I don't know if it was you that wrote this. I think it was your article, but it basically said instead of Malcolm Hill just trying to keep up or outscore Peter Jock, he took it upon himself to kind of shut him down. Now, whether Jock is healthy or not, you still have to give some credit.
He
still bothered him. That's exactly right. And if you focused on Malcolm, man, he was making cuts. He was getting around screens.
You know what he was? He's a leader.
He's a leader.
He was a
last night.
veteran.
That's correct.
You know, he was rebounding. He wasn't forcing shots. He had 11 points, 12 points on 7 shots.
Right? Yeah.
That's what you want. You didn't need him to be that scorer because you had Finke and Mav and Tijon and Laurent scoring all that. So it was nice to see that he could play that role, and he doesn't mind playing that role.
No,
he doesn't have to score 30 points a game for this team. Like Jock has to score.
He does
20 to 30 points for Iowa to have a chance. Malcolm doesn't if this thing's clicking like it is, and the starting 5 played really, really well, and so did Michael Finke.
And it was a balanced offense. If you look, and when I say balanced, all I want you to do is look at field goal attempts. Everybody's about, you got 4, 7, 6, 7, 8, 5, 9,
I wish
10.
you didn't have that in front of you because I want to kind of quiz our listeners.
Okay.
Who do you think shot the most last night? Not Malcolm.
No.
Not Mav.
No.
Not JCO, who didn't have a great night, 2 for 7, but he was 2 for 4 from 3.
Sure.
I got blocked a bunch of the rim. It was not Tijon.
No.
It was not Laurent, not Malcolm, not Mav. It was
almost.
It was Finke.
It was Finke. It was almost Tracy.
It was almost Tracy.
Right.
It was almost Tracy.
That's the one issue I have with. I don't need Tracy Abrams taking 9 shots, especially when he's not shooting well.
It was nice to see him have one go down.
Yes,
but boy, it's ugly right now.
I mean, he was smiling, and the announcers pointed that out. They're like, he's smiling coming down the court, looking at going, "Hey, please." The other guy, though, I was focused in on Tijon. You're right. Tijon Lucas is our best defensive guard,
which is a huge leap.
It's huge
because he was terrible.
Yes,
at the beginning of the year.
JCL. How do I say this? It's not for a lack of trying, I think, on the defensive end. Now, this may have been just last night. Maybe I haven't really watched him close enough the other games. That kid just seems to not understand how to play defense. Is that fair? It seems like he's always hustling, but out of position. He doesn't know when a guy's going to come down and use the screen. So he'll go all the way down instead of realizing, all right, he's going to use that screen. So instead of doing that, I'm going to cheat a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm not way out of position. I think, but JCL just is not very good defensively. We saw that early in his freshman year. He seemed to improve, but now he's back to that.
Why isn't he a good defender, though? Like you mentioned, he's long.
He is long.
He might only be 6'2". He's got long arms.
Does.
He's quick.
Yep.
He is quick and athletic.
I just don't think he understands how to play it.
I think he's ridiculously smart. He's ridiculously smart.
Right, and I hope people don't understand. I hope I'm not sounding like I'm ripping on him for not knowing basketball.
What's the disconnect there, though?
Right, what is it right? I agree.
If he's smart enough, athletic enough, quick enough, what is the disconnect, Lon?
Why isn't he getting it done? I don't know.
Focus.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And we see this all the time with offensive players.
Yeah, that's true. They get down to the other end. It's like,
on their offense. Yeah, but when he is locked into a team game, he can be good.
Yes.
I mean, he can be okay at that end. But no, it was a nice performance. It wasn't a great performance by this team. Iowa's a bad team. But you know what? Illinois needs to beat up on these bad, mediocre Big Ten teams at home. And this is where that Maryland loss just sits there and stings.
It does.
Because if you have that one in your back pocket and you lost all those road games and it was embarrassing, at least you're taking care of business at home and you still got chances to go on the road. But the big story was Tejon Lucas getting the start line. And I asked John Gross one here, how he made the move, how he came to the decision, and if he's going to stick with this.
I kind of had it in my gut. I have my weekly meeting. Trace and I meet. I meet with all the guys as well, but he and I met on Thursday. We talked about it. Obviously, what we could do to try to help our team, as well as try to get him jump started a little bit. And something like that doesn't happen unless your leader, like he is, has a mindset like that. Tonight, he made a bonehead play and said, "You should take me out for that. Let me get," he's really caught up in the team. I mean, he really is. So he and I talked a lot about it. The goal was to, the one thing I said, I know he'd had some foul trouble to start games. And I said, the good thing is you won't have fouls when you go in. So that'll be a good thing. We won't have to worry about that. And, keep it simple and see if we can get you jump started a little bit. And if he plays better, our team will play better. And at the same time, I thought the rhythm that we have been playing with Lucas, not only Lucas, but also with Tate at that position, have been good. And so we had talked on Thursday and kind of knew we were going to move in that direction. And obviously tonight I thought those guys did a good job. But, again, it's one game, and they got to continue to practice well and build off of today and do it again on Saturday.
It always feels like coaches are slower to make these moves because there's a human element to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Tracy's a sixth-year senior, captain, a leader of this team. But we've seen for at least, and I know fans, we've seen this since the beginning. I get that. Tejon had a lot of struggles.
Sure.
But since Tracy has really started to struggle, that's when you needed to start to make the move. When it was not just 2 games. Yeah. It was 3, it was 4, it was 5. That's
going downhill in a hurry.
That's when you got to make the move, and I think it's a couple games too late, but at least he did make the move.
Right, and I even argued during a lot of the early Big Ten stretch that I just wanted to see more of Tejon. It wasn't necessarily that I needed him to start. I even said, I don't mind Tracy starting. He's your senior. But now it's apparent that you need to get a guy like Tejon in that starting lineup and get things rolling early.
Tracy might have the designation of point guard. He's not.
You're right.
He's just not a point guard.
Nope. Tejon's the first true point guard.
Now you have Tejon as your starter. He should get 25 to 30 minutes, or 25 minutes at least.
Yes.
At that spot now. And maybe Tracy can take some of those. I don't mind a little bit of Jalen.
I don't either.
A little dosage of Jalen every now and then. Fans, you don't got to boo every time Jalen comes in.
Yeah, no, please.
But I can deal with a little bit because he's actually a point guard.
Yes.
And he's not as good as Tejon, but he does some of the things. I don't think Tracy's a point guard anymore.
I don't either.
I think it's him and Jalen at the 2.
Which is scary because Tracy at the 2 is not shooting well. So you start to think, all right, then if you're the role of a 2 guy, that means you're shooting better. But he and JCL, neither one of them are really shooting that well.
Play defense, attack, create for others. If you have an open shot, take it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't mind him taking some open shots and taking it. But he's a role player, and that's fine. He can do that, and he can do it really well. I thought towards the end of the game, he had some big rebounds.
Yes, he did.
I mean, they were really struggling on the glass, and Tracy came in there and had a couple big rebounds. The thing I couldn't stand is John Gross, just 3 minutes into the game, you have a 10-0 lead. Tejon just hit a 3. He had a couple great passes to start. He had a 10-0 start. Continue that momentum. Continue to step on the gas. He takes out JCL and Tejon and puts in Tracy and Jalen.
I couldn't figure it out either.
Just the offensive drop there. And I know what John's theory is, and I get it. It makes some sense.
Get him out right before the TV timeout, get him a little extra rest.
He does that all the time.
Yes.
But when your guys
Not
are
3 minutes into the game.
Right, and when your guys are hot,
yes, keep them in.
He did it with Finke.
Yep.
Late in the first half. And it was like Finke was feeling it, and he just hit a 3, and John takes him out.
Right.
Right. Like, these guys are 18 to 22-year-olds who are in great shape at some point. So he was asked about this, Gross 2 here on, about in the future, does he think about just keeping those guys in?
Oh, sure. We'll take a look at it and continue to evaluate. I like what I saw today, and we got a couple days of practice leading into Saturday, and, we'll look at all those things, not only statistically from plus minus to offensive and defensive efficiency within certain groups and all that, and take a look at it and see if we need to make any changes or if we go the same route, and whatever we need to do to continue to make our team better.
Listen, we just got done with political season. That was a political answer.
Yeah.
He didn't answer your question. I mean, he didn't answer the question, essentially.
But he's still going strength in numbers. You had 10 guys get double-digit minutes. 10 guys play. They all got double-digit minutes. Thorne with 10, Tate with 15, Nichols 16, Tracy 17, Finke 21 off the bench. Laron, the starter, that had the fewest minutes at 18. The rest of the guys over 20. So, Tijon 27, Malcolm Hill 27, Mav 29. I like all those numbers.
I do too.
But
the only thing,
the strength in numbers, I don't know if this team is still a strength in numbers.
I don't either. And the one thing, and again, I said this, I loved the balance last night of this team. I liked the shot attempt balance. I liked the minute balance. I still don't understand why LaRon Black is not playing more than what he played last night.
He only had one foul.
He had 18 minutes and one foul.
I think he was playing really well.
No, that's true. And there is always a other side of a story, and it's important to bring that up. And Michael Finke, who was 7 for 10 and hitting bombs, man. He wasn't just hitting right behind the 3-point line. He was two steps behind it.
He's shooting 61% during Big Ten play, 12 of 21 from 3. I think the last 4 or 5 games, he's 9 of 13.
He's a pure shooter, man.
They need to get him more touches.
They do.
I mean, in that ball screen, he is perfect for it. That pick and pop, he is perfect. I still think
you can do it now with Tijon.
I still think his ceiling is really high.
Yes,
Michael Finke, and yes, with Tijon, who can attack the hoop and has that knack. Even JCL, and Finke are really good at that because JCL's got that over the behind the head pass that's just ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, JCL had 4 assists in like the first 10 minutes.
Right.
I love to see that. I love to see him taking what the defense gives him. Finke's really dangerous. They need to run more for him because he's the one guy that is consistently shooting a high percentage along with Mav.
Yeah, and one thing we haven't seen in a long time is a true, and I don't mean true point. I know Jalen Tate's a true point guard. A really good true point guard, which I think Tijon can grow into. Maybe Trent Frazier grows into that role as well, although he might play more of the 2 role. If you get that true point guard, it makes everybody better. It makes a guy like Michael Finke better because that point guard is getting into that defense, into the tooth of a defense, the teeth of a defense, and then he's finding guys that are open. And if you can set Michael Finke out behind the 3-point line and he's wide open, I'll let him take 10 shots a game every game.
Making defenses move is a good thing.
It is really a good thing.
Right?
I remember that in junior high.
Making defenses move is a good thing because you either penetrate like Tijon does and you get ball movement off that. They were passing so well. 18 assists on 26 field goals last night, and there were a bunch of hockey assists.
They were.
And Tracy had some. Tijon probably had 4 of them. JCL had a couple of them. There's great passing last night, and that's what this team is capable of on offense when they have a real point guard like that. But Gross 4 here on Finke. Gross talked about him because he had his struggles in the non-conference. Unlike last year, he was great in the non-conference, struggled in Big Ten play. He's starting to find it during Big Ten play.
Yeah, I think he just kind of, Michael, I said this downstairs, he's just playing the game the right way. He just got a pure heart right now, pure mind, loves his teammates, claps for other guys and gets excited when they do well and just plays it the right way. If he's open, he shoots. If he doesn't, he passes and goes to the offensive glass darn near about every time, and he's going to compete, and he's going to play for Illinois, and he's playing right now with a very pure heart and pure mind, and when you do that, you tend to play really, really well. So he's played well for some time now, and hopefully he will continue.
I don't think there's any doubt, even when he was coming in as a freshman, that you knew Michael Finke understood basketball. He understood what it was like, what needed to happen. His issue has always been just physical talent. I mean, obviously the kid's talented. Let's don't take that away from him. But in terms of knowing the game and knowledge of the game, and I've said from the beginning, I would love for him to take a ton of shots. And he did get into that. He got into that role in non-conference where he was almost timid to shoot.
He's really improved at this year as well as rebounding.
Has he?
His offensive rebound percentage this year is up 1.5%. That's a nice tick up. Defensive rebound percentage up 3.
That's huge.
That's big.
That's huge for this team.
Yeah.
And when essentially you haven't gotten those rebounds out of Mike Thorne this year, they have to go somewhere. And if LaRon Black, who had a great game with 10.7 rebounds, isn't going to play a ton of minutes, that's 2 straight games in a row that he hasn't eclipsed 20 minutes, which still surprises me. That's the one thing that kind of surprises me a little bit, but that's where you need guys like Michael Finke to step up.
That's where you have to decide, is it worth playing Thorne?
I agree.
Can we play Finke or Black at the 5? Because a lot of people, I even got people tweeting at me today, why don't DJ Williams and Aaron Jordan play? Well, who you benching one?
Right.
And the answer usually is Thorne. And I'm like, do you want to put DJ Williams in over Finke or Black?
No.
I'd rather just cut the rotation down another guy.
I would too.
Right?
I would too.
That's what I would rather do. Maybe Mike can help you every once in a while in a pinch if Mav gets in foul trouble or somebody else does, or if Mav's not playing very well. But that doesn't happen all that much. Well, I'd rather cut this thing down a little bit more and play my guys who are playing really well.
It goes back to what you said earlier, and then we'll catch a break here. You talked about Tracy Abrams and the idea that a coach, I don't know how you said it, but essentially kind of goes with their guy, if you will. Maybe he's rewarding Mike Thorne because Thorne has had
practiced well.
Sounds like he's practiced well. Maybe he's rewarding him and trying to get him in the game, and that's noble. But I want to win games.
10 minutes, 0 for 1 from the field, 1 rebound.
Yeah, he really doesn't. He didn't give you
one
much.
turnover.
I'd rather see most of those minutes go to LeRon Black. I really would. But now again, maybe defensively they noticed that something was happening and they felt like Thorne could give them better defense. And I would assume this coaching staff right now is focused on that more than anything.
Okay, so you took the first step on the ladder, Lon.
Okay.
Step up the ladder.
2 steps, right? We had a good practice.
You had a good practice. Then you had a good game. You win it. You protect home court. Now you got to go on the road and steal one.
Yeah, this is where you get a little higher on that ladder, and it starts to wobble a little bit as you're getting up there. Yeah. 2 steps, I'm good. Even if I fall, I can catch myself.
I mean, you go into the Bryce Jordan Center.
Woo!
With that noise, the ladder starts shaking a little bit, right?
7,000 people in there?
Maybe 1,000.
I know. Are they getting more? They're getting a little bit more this year.
I mean, they're not very
Maybe
good.
Maybe 2,000. No, they're not.
That's a young team, but they're a tough team.
Yep.
And they got some young talents, and they're hungry. But Illinois, you got to put this thing together.
You do.
You got to start to string. This one doesn't mean anything against Iowa unless you start to string together some wins. Because right now, believe it or not, you're tied for 9th place with 4 other teams.
Unbelievable.
And the Big Ten. The Big Ten is not good.
No, it's not.
And you could still get a lot of wins here. And you just won one, so now instead of 8 of 11, you got to win 7 of 10.
Yep, there you go.
Right?
We're slowly chiseling it away.
And if you win at Penn State, what the heck?
You've given yourself a shot to beat
Wisconsin in, the fans' last gasp, and you have a chance. You have a chance at home, feeling better about yourself, and you never know. And you're at the top of that ladder. You take it down. You cut the nets down after Wisconsin close the season there.
That would be awesome if they just literally brought a ladder out and started cutting down the net
after beating
I bet that wouldn't tick Wisconsin off at all, right? Hey, if you want to weigh in, 359-2255. We've gotten a lot of your texts. We'll get to those as we go along. That's the same number to call, 359-2255.
I know this is a long segment, but this is a good topic for next week. If Illinois beats Penn State, if you beat Wisconsin, do you rush to court?
Ooh, what would they be ranked?
Next week on the Tay and J Show.
Yes, let's talk about it then. All right, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. You can also find us, get our app, WSJK app, get the podcast at ESPNCU.com. That's, and iTunes, powered by GTPS Insurance. A lot to do today. We'll hear from Cody Westerland on the Bulls. What's happening there?
That's always fun.
Yeah, it is. Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. We'll talk to him more about this Illini as well. It is the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
If he decides to play next year, don't sit there and say, oh, thank God Ben changed his mind. Ben just said, I'm evaluating everything, including whether I'm going to continue to play or not. But that's obviously the thing that everybody's going to grab onto. So whenever he decides, and I fully believe he's going to decide to play next year, it will just be, okay, he evaluated everything and he decided to play next year, which is exactly what I expect him to do.
I do too. But I do understand a way of looking at it where you say, I'm beat up. You put yourself through a lot to play this sport. You don't have to. It isn't going to go on forever. I have all the money I could ever possibly need. One of these days, it's going to be the star quarterback who just decides, I'm going to retire way before what we're accustomed to. That's going to happen. Now, do I think it's going to be Ben in this case? I do not. But it is a sign of the times.
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio. Remember when a small business needed a landline? Today, landlines are a thing of the past with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. On the road, at the beach, or at home, Grasshopper helps you grow your business. Get all the features of a business phone system and the freedom of a cell phone with our iPhone and Android apps. Features include multiple extensions for your team, calls forwarded to your mobile phones, voicemails transcribed and emailed, and so much more. See how it works at grasshopper.com, the entrepreneur's phone system.
Do you love pizza? Because if you love pizza, the 10 any pizza deal from Pizza Hut is the biggest no-brainer in the history of the world. You can carry out a large pizza, any toppings, anytime for just $10. Even a large pan meat lovers, or pepperoni lovers, or whatever toppings you love. They're all $10. The 10 any pizza deal, because no one out-pizzas the Hut. Ask for this offer. Additional charge for extra cheese and stuffed crust. Product availability, prices, and participation may vary.
Somewhere, an adult man is being forced to spend his Saturday at an art fair. He's barraged by remarks of Liechtenstein and coerced into eating bruschetta while his pleas for chili fries go unanswered. Perhaps you are this man. If so, little brothers are standing by to free you from your self-made prison and become outlets for your vast knowledge of sports and deep fat fried foods.
To get help, contact Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Central Illinois, 355-2227 or bbbscil.org.
DP Dough is the original calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original calzone company.
Everyone remembers this nursery rhyme. Rosati's thought about coming up with a rhyme for their spaghetti special this month, but they decided they didn't need a rhyme because this deal is big enough on its own. Don't miss this great carry-out special at Rosati's Pizza. It's their spaghetti special. Spaghetti, salad, and breadsticks for a family of 4 for just $29.95. Available for carry-out only on Tuesdays from 4 to 9 p.m. No time to cook? Too busy running errands to prepare dinner? Do it family style with Rosati's Pizza, 701 South Gregory, Urbana.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I'm Jeremy Warner. This is your 331 Sports Update brought to you by the Mettler Center. If you're going to take your fitness to the next level, set up a free 30-minute consultation by visiting MettlerCenter.com. After losing 3 straight, Illinois coach John Gross finally handed the keys to Tijon Lucas, and the 18-year-old turned the ignition of a stalling team. Lucas and the Illini took a 10-0 lead in the first few minutes, carried that momentum to a 76-64 win over Iowa at the State Farm Center. Lucas's box score didn't look gaudy. He had 6.6 assists, but he did spark the Illini, as did Michael Finke, who scored 17 points on 10 shots. Lucas said he wasn't nervous about his first career start.
I'm glad I was able to start. Thank Coach for that. Don't take it for granted, and I'm just keep coming in every day. You never know who's starting each game. Not really. I was just make sure I'm focused. Remembering what the first play is and all that other stuff. I'm focused on that before nervous. It really wasn't nervous, just more ready. They was taking all day. Every day, you just got to come in with the mindset of getting better. That's what I've been doing. I never know when I'm going to play. You just got to be able to come out and practice, play hard, and time has come.
Illini now
the kid just sounds cute. Doesn't he? Just a young, cute kid.
Illini are now in a 5-way tie for 9th place in the Big Ten. That could move to 7th place tonight. Wow. They head to Penn State looking for their first Big Ten road win on Saturday at 3:30. Illini have lost 5 of their last 7 at University Park. Okay. In the Big Ten tonight, Northwestern hosts Nebraska and Michigan hosts Indiana. If Northwestern and Indiana win, Illinois will be tied for 7th place.
Here we go. Ladder, baby.
Illinois State won their 10th straight. They improved to 9-0 in the Missouri Valley with a 71-66 win over Indiana State. Bradley lost at Loyola Chicago 70-50.
Tay and J Show, Lonte, Jeremy Warner. If you'd like to weigh in, 359-2255. Loving the text. We'll get to those as we roll along. We'll also get to the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line, which we'll do now. We're going to go up to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Scott's joining us. How you doing, Scott?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing well, buddy.
Hey, I'm going to throw out about 3 thoughts to you, and then I'll hang up and kind of get your thoughts.
Okay.
It all kind of points at coaching, but I don't really understand when I see Abrams and Tate on the court at the same time together. Offensively, that's just a killer. But the problem I see with Tate on the court and Gross's stubbornness to have him out there, it affects you offensively so much, not because he might only score 2 points or 4 points, but just because the defense plays off of him, and then all of a sudden you have 5-on-4. It just makes it so difficult to run the offense. Second point is rebounding. It's so difficult to watch us defensively try to rebound. As great as Morgan's playing, he's a very poor rebounder for his size, and offensively as well, not getting very many offensive rebounds. And lastly, and maybe most importantly, the only way you were going to lose that game last night after you had a big lead was giving up a bunch of three-pointers. And to see Iowa with some pretty good ball movement at the end and end up with wide-open threes, I just don't understand defensively why they move off the player at the line to try to help defensively and leave guys wide open from the three. You're better off giving them twos and have the defense be one-on-one and not giving up those open three-point shots. And lastly, I've never seen an Illinois team give up so many layups or drives to the baskets that end up in points without challenging the guys. And on the same end, it seems like our guys go in for layups constantly or drives to the basket where we don't get the points. Overly frustrating.
Okay.
So thanks for taking my call.
All right, Scott, appreciate
there's
that,
4
buddy.
points.
Yeah, Scott, you said 3 and you went 4 on us, man.
Abrams and Tate, I agree with you. It doesn't make a lot of sense, especially with Abrams struggling as much as he is. That's why I wouldn't mind if you're going to bring off Abrams to fill in for Jalen Coleman-Lands, keep Tijon in there.
Exactly.
Just for a minute or two, then bring Jalen back and then put Jalen Tate in. So that's kind of what I would do.
Yeah, because Tijon's not going to play 40 minutes, right? Right. And they even said last night, even the announcers noticed to Jeremy with regards to...
he played 27. That's a lot more than I thought he'd play.
Absolutely. And the announcers even said Abrams. They're even letting him shoot. So right now, to Scott's point, to even broaden it a little bit, is when Abrams and Tate are both on the court, you got two guys that really the other defense is not really that worried about.
They will with Abrams.
A little bit.
I mean, there's still a history there this year on the scouting report. They're going to look at those numbers. Now, they'll know he's struggling a little bit here, but they know he can do it.
Sure.
Secondly, the rebounding. I don't know if I fully agree with that.
I don't either.
You just look at the numbers. Illinois is second during Big Ten play in the conference in defensive rebound percentage.
Yeah.
They're 8th in offensive rebound percentage. Now, last night, they did not have a good defensive rebounding
No, they
night.
didn't.
Iowa had, I think it was 15 of the 41 misses that they had. That's too much.
That is way too much.
And that and turnovers are really why they were able to stay in the game. So last night wasn't very good, but over the course of the Big Ten play, they've actually been a pretty good rebounding team.
And you know me, I scream and yell and cry sometimes. I don't literally cry about rebounding, and I haven't really pitched a fit all year. I think they've done
had a bad
okay.
stretch in the second half, and the guards really needed to help, and Tracy started to give that towards the end of the game. 3-point defense and layups, I mean, that's what we've been talking about all year.
Amen.
This team doesn't have enough athleticism or quickness really to get those layups.
Right.
JCL's trying, Tracy's trying, and it doesn't end up well.
No, it doesn't.
They get blocked at the rim or they take bad shots. They just don't have the personnel for that, and it's the same thing on the defensive end when it comes to at the rim.
Yep.
You don't have a Nana Egwu.
Nope.
You don't have a Myers Leonard. You don't have those kind of players who can provide that kind of presence. I mean, Mav is big, but he's not that kind of player. I mean, he's just going to get in your way.
Right.
He's not going to leap and swat you like a DJ Wilson or something like that. So that's another personnel issue. When it comes to three-pointers, that's scouting. I mean, teams are going to get open looks.
Sure.
Every once in a while. Sure. Illinois did get lucky that Bohannon did not have a good night.
Yeah, and he didn't feel well, I guess.
He had a lot of good looks. He was 1 for 7. Of course, you got to break with Jock, too. I mean, if Jock and Bohannon were their normal selves,
it's a lot closer game.
This could have been an overtime game or something like that.
Right, that's the scary part. And I get your point, Scott, with regards to you're up big, the way for Iowa to get back in it. But you still, I don't think you completely change what you're doing defensively and just guard the line.
The way they got back into it was points in the paint.
Yeah, they did.
They had 40 points in the paint.
And Bear had a pretty good game. Of course, I jinxed it yesterday and said, I don't know why he's not playing better. He's a pretty good player as a freshman. Yeah. Then he comes out and gets 12 on you. So that's my bad. I jinxed that 12-7 for Bear. But, yeah, look, a good win, not a great win. I think you pointed that out to start. A good, solid win for Illinois. Now you're 12-8. You're 2-5 still, though, in the Big Ten.
Don't feel much different about this team.
I don't either.
I do like the Tijon starting.
Yep.
I think Gross is figuring out what we all kind of knew.
Yep.
Not that he didn't know it before, but I think he was like, I got to see more of this. I got to see more of this. T-John kept getting more playing time. And then obviously now he starts. So maybe they start to gel a little bit more, but this is a middle to lower part of the Big Ten team.
Right.
And there's a lot of them.
There really are.
Right. You have played, and the teams you have lost to are 4 of the 5 best teams.
Yeah.
In the Big Ten.
The Big Ten.
Besides Michigan. Michigan is not.
Right. No,
so
they're not.
3 of the top 5 Big Ten teams. So
well, we've talked about it all along. Starting with Iowa, you have a little bit easier schedule the rest of the way. Right. Let's see if Illinois could take advantage of that. Maybe we look back at the end of the year in March as happy people and sit there and say, you know what, maybe we didn't really give them enough credit with regards to how tough that schedule was to start the Big Ten. But again, it's that loss at home to Maryland and then to spin back around after you just crushed Michigan and you're down 21 at Michigan. That's that Jekyll and Hyde kind of performance doesn't give me any hope going on the road. I don't care if it's Penn State.
We had a texter ask about the plus-minus numbers, which basically is how many points when you were on the court was your team winning by, or how many points were you when you were on the court was your team losing by. It's not a perfect stat. It doesn't tell you everything, but last night it told us the starters were really good.
Okay.
When the starters were on the floor, T-John Lucas, a plus 21, led the team.
Wow.
Mav Morgan, a plus 20. Coleman Lands, plus 16. Laron Black, plus 14. Malcolm Hill, plus 12. I'll preference this and say through the first 6 or 7 games of the season, Jalen Tate was crushing everybody.
Was your leader
on the
in
team
plus,
in plus
right?
minus. So again, not a perfect stat, but it tells you a little bit about the game. Jalen Tate was lowest on the team with a minus 11. Michael Finke, of all people, was second lowest at a minus 6. Kipper Nichols minus 3, Mike Thorne Jr. minus 2, Abrams minus 1. Of course, Finke, why that happened is because he was on there with a lot of the backups during the game, and he wasn't out there for that 10-0 stretch to start the game.
Okay, fair enough.
But so that explains a little bit of it, but it tells you your starters were a heck of a lot better.
They were.
Which normally it will be, and usually your starters should be in the plus column
should, right?
of a win, while you just don't want your reserves to be too far into the negative of that.
Fair enough. And by the way, I said Illinois was 2-5. I was reminded. That was my
3
bad.
and 5,
yeah, they're 3-5. That was more of just Lon being Lon. All right, let's head back to the Jupiter.
You're just reading this box score that had the wrong
In fact,
record.
when I said...
You were just being Ron Burgundy.
Right. And when I said 2-5, I even kind of like 2-5. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. 3-5, though. We appreciate the assist there. Not a hockey assist, however. Donnie in Danville joining us. How you doing, Donnie?
Hey, guys. Good.
What you got?
Hey, I just want to know, how many blowout road lots did Whitman go into a stand for? Is he going to give no Gross a little bit of leeway here with the teams coming in, or is he just about fed up with it?
Okay. Hey, Donnie, thanks for the call, buddy.
Josh Whitman hasn't told us.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Josh Whitman's
Does he not
going
talk to you?
Well, he says,
that?
hey. But he's not going to answer questions on this, and it's smart not to.
He doesn't pull a chair up next to you and say, Jeremy, I'm going to kind of give you some tidbits.
Which makes a lot of sense of why he wouldn't at this point. Because answering those questions, what does it do for you?
No, right.
I'd love to hear his answer.
Yeah, I would too.
I'd love to know exactly what he's thinking. Hey, are you looking for other coaches? Are you figuring out how much money you can have? Or are you just married to this guy?
Right.
But he's not going to answer that. You can't, you can't give a vote of confidence.
No,
because whenever you do that, it doesn't help.
No, it does not.
And it points towards that there is something wrong. Even though we all know it,
Yep.
saying it is a headline, right? And it gets put in the media, it gets talked about over and over again. And Mike Thomas gave the vote of confidence at some point.
He did.
Or he didn't just say anything.
Yep.
Like he just said, we'll evaluate at the end of the year. Oh, that could be a death knell. The players read that. Everybody in the program reads that. They know they need wins. And if you get to 10-8, I even tell Cart this. He's going to feel a heck of a lot different.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's probably not going to be sold on John Gross.
Right.
But at 10-8, he's going to be excited about Illinois basketball.
Yes, you are.
He will be.
That'd be a lot of wins.
That's a lot of wins.
Yep.
You're going to have some quality wins, and you're going to be going to an NCAA tournament.
I agree.
So if you do that, you will change what some fans think about it. And that's what John Gross has to do. He has to win games.
He does.
And yes, I understand those blowouts absolutely feel like a death knell. You just can't keep happening.
No, you can't.
You got to win some road games, a couple of them at least, and then you got to accrue all those wins at home. So we could still look back if they're 10-8 and be like, man, they got better.
They did.
From those blowout wins, which were really disturbing, but they bounced back from it. That's John Gross's job right now. I, like every fan out there, even after last night, one win over a bad team that was banged up. I don't think they're going to get there.
No.
But it's way too early for Josh Whitman to be making statements about that kind of
stuff. And to his point, and you touched on it with the blowouts, it is amazing how that makes you feel as a fan. In the sense that you feel like, all right, we're not even in these games. We haven't been, obviously, not we, Illinois, hasn't been in these games. And that, more than anything going forward, gives me the idea that they're not going to be able to win at Penn State, even though Penn State might not beat them by 20.
If you lost at Indiana by 10, Maryland by 12, Purdue by 13,
right?
Would you feel that much better about this team?
I don't know that I'd feel that much better. I would feel better about them going on the road in the future,
going to Nebraska or Penn State,
right? Yeah. It's the idea that Michigan, who is not good, was up 21 on you in the second half, late in the second half. That tells me, now, a loss is a loss is a loss, and Sean Harrington pointed that out. That's still one loss. It doesn't matter if you lose by 42, like SIU does, or by 20, like Illinois does. But it doesn't give me, now that doesn't matter to anybody, but it doesn't give me, the fan, any confidence going into Penn State.
Well, Sean always uses the plus-minus standing, where it's 0 points for a road loss, 0 points for a home win.
Okay.
And right now, Illinois is at a -1
because
they have
loss to
a
Maryland.
loss at home. So that isn't like a huge hole.
It is.
If you just base it based on that,
you could get that back with a win at Penn State,
and you could be at 0 again.
Yep.
But then you got to protect home court against Wisconsin, which is really, really difficult. So you just can't have this thing snowball because you'd be at a -3 after 2 games here. So
you and I said it right before the show started. It would be great. I mean, you've got this week. This is kind of like, I do this worse than anybody.
It's the ladder.
I do this worse than anybody.
Got to climb that ladder.
But you've got, here it is. Here's this week presented in front of you on a ladder. Basically,
it's Operation Prolonged Relevancy,
you
right?
had a chance to beat a bad team at home, and you did it.
You did.
Now you got a chance to beat a young team on the road and get that road win.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Yeah.
And then you're setting up against a really quality team of Wisconsin at home with a chance to get a big win.
That's your chance for a marquee win.
Yep.
And you know what? We looked at that schedule and we were saying, oh, these teams are all better. Minnesota's 3-5.
Yeah, they're starting to take a dive.
Right?
They're starting to. It all kind of ends up settling itself by the end of the year, doesn't it?
Is Nebraska going to win 4 more Big Ten games this year?
They need Ed Morrow back.
They're 9-10, 7-11 overall.
Wow.
That team's not good.
No.
Michigan State's not all that great. They're better. They're better than you.
Better. That Purdue-Michigan State game was fun to watch, but Purdue beat them at Michigan State.
It's Wisconsin, Maryland, Purdue, sometimes Indiana, and probably Northwestern.
That's crazy.
And Michigan State,
and it's
the rest of it is
Illinois
could be that 7th or 8th. You could be that 7th team.
Can we just be that 7th team?
Would you take it right now? End of season, you're that 7th team.
I want 6. I don't like odd numbers. Can we get to 6?
No, I'm not giving you 6.
You're not giving me 6?
If I gave you 7.
I'll take 7, yes.
I bet
7 sounds better than 13.
I bet that's 9-9.
Yeah, and then we're sitting there on Selection Sunday thinking we're not going to make it.
But you got a chance going into the Big Ten tournament.
You got a shot. And maybe this time Tracy knocks down that little floater. Maybe. Maybe not, though. All right, Tracy Abrams.
For 26 from here.
I know. Speaking of Tracy Abrams, he has struggled in conference play, but this is a kid coming off injuries. And you wonder, is he wearing down? And is that part of the reason maybe John Gross made a switch to Tijon to try to give Tracy a little break? When we come back, we're going to do the Mettler Center injury report with Jeff Schroeder, doctor of physical therapy. We're going to focus on Tracy Abrams and get a professional's opinion on, is he wearing down and how much are these injuries affecting Tracy Abrams right now? We'll do that next. It is the Tay and J Show.
Stay toasty this winter with Matex Heating and Cooling's hot winter deals. Choose a rebate of up to $1,000 or 0% interest payments for 3 years on your new qualifying Trane heating and cooling system. Call Matex Heating and Cooling today at 355-9700 or visit online at mattexservice.com. It's hard to stop a train.
See your independent Trane dealer for details. Call 888-653-0051 for financing program details. About credit costs and terms. Regular APR at 28.99%. For newly opened accounts, APR may vary. Subject to credit approval. Offer expires March 15, 2017.
Hey guys, Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show, and for this Illinois basketball season, we have a brand new show on ESPN 93.5 called The 200 Level. Ride the roller coaster with myself and Steve Breitweiser each Monday night at 6, right after the Tay and J Show, every Monday through the NCAA tournament. The 200 Level is brought to you by DP Dough, Shambana Sales, Chief Bauer Service Experts, and Heiser Allstate Agency. The 200 Level, Monday nights at 6, beginning January 9th, only on ESPN 93.5 and streaming online at espncu.com.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals. A nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
ILLINI. Cheer on the Illini at Pia's. The pregame fun starts at Pia's Sports Bar and Grill. Pia's serves up its famous 10-ounce Slugger Burger along with great wings and so much more. Enjoy 350 22-ounce light and course light drafts every home and away Illini game. Watch the game at Pia's or ride the free shuttle to all home games. You'll find it all at Pia's with live video gaming, sports, food, drinks, and fun. See you at Pia's, West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
Welcome back to the hunt of a lifetime. Our top hunters are headed out now. Let's take a look at the big game.
Hey, Donnie, did you see Jim the Human's new rifle?
Yeah, Dave. It's got a new custom-designed tip, and the truck he pulled up in has a custom paint job and light system from Central Illinois Hydrographics.
Maybe you should head there, Dave, and get your antlers tipped. Then maybe you'll be able to score a dub.
Donnie and Dave joke, but if you're looking to give real personality to an item that you own, you need to check out Central Illinois Hydrographics. Check out the pictures on Facebook and see their work online at Central Illinois Hydro, GRAFX.com.
Let Central Illinois Hydrographics supply a one-of-a-kind printed design or custom one-of-a-kind color on anything you own. Engine compartment parts, interior car parts, boats, motorcycles, game systems, and more. They're also one of CU's premier ammo and firearms dealer for Rock Island and many more. Visit Central Illinois Hydrographics at Central Illinois Hydro, GRAFX.com.
How hard did your savings work for you last year? If you're looking for a great rate of return on your money with a quick turnaround, check out the 11-month CD special at Prospect Bank. They're offering an 11-month CD special at 1.01 annual percentage rate. With a minimum of $1,000 to open, the 11-month CD will mature just in time for next Christmas. The Prospect Bank, a division of Edgar County Bank and Trust Company, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
When you're heading home, Tay and Jay are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
The Nana Aglu Defenders Club canceled. We canceled the meeting this week. Didn't know Gross said great things about Nana.
Did
this
Nana
week.
get hurt or something?
No, we just couldn't hold our lunch down at our luncheon today when we had to talk about the topic of the day. Because
he's punching people's eyes out.
Nana was playing, I think, is he playing for a Chinese team? I think Taipei.
I didn't know he was playing.
And they were playing somebody in New Zealand. And he went up for a rebound along with a guy on the other team. And Nana was just, did nothing wrong.
No.
He was just had his arms up, and Nana's got some sharp-edged bones, right? So this guy came down, and it looks like Nana's either his finger or his elbow hit this guy's eye socket. And do you remember Alan Ray from Villanova?
Yes.
The guard.
Yes.
He got his eye popped out. Which is like the grossest thing. I've seen so many gross injuries. Kevin Ware, Louisville, was one of the grosser ones I've seen. Willis McGahee's.
Joe Theismann back in the day.
An eye popping out of its socket is this. Ugh.
Nobody needs that.
No.
Those
this guy was writhing in pain. I guess he's going to be okay. But you see all the players just going, oh God.
Oh, I can't imagine.
There's something just about an eyeball.
Yes.
Not in its correct spot.
Well, and Nana is a super nice kid. I bet he felt horrible.
He just kind of covered his mouth.
It's just a New Zealander, though. I mean,
I think he's American.
Oh,
the guy
he's
playing
American.
in New Zealand.
Well, then he shouldn't be in New Zealand. That's the way I'm going to say it. No, I'm kidding. I'm trying to help out.
Are we going to talk about an eye injury?
We could. We could right now. Jeff's like, no, let's talk about Tracy Abrams. It is time for the Mettler Center Injury Report with Jeff Schroeder, Doctor of Physical Therapy. Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, guys. You guys are great. I chuckle when waiting to get on the air with you guys.
You never know what we're going to lead into you with. Yeah. Probably had no idea it'd be an eye popping out.
Yeah, you don't have any experience with that, do you, Jeff?
No, that's a little bit out of our expertise.
It's optometrist, okay.
That's right.
Well, you know a lot with Achilles injuries, ACL injuries, and of course Tracy Abrams suffered both those huge catastrophic injuries. He's struggling now. You know, he started off the season so well, and now he's starting to struggle. And a lot of people speculate that those injuries play an effect. So what are the lasting effects of an ACL or Achilles, especially Achilles, because it seems like when guys suffer that injury, they're never quite the same.
Mm-hmm. Well, the interesting thing is both of them by themselves can be pretty catastrophic, and I would say that the Achilles injury in basketball is probably a little bit more serious of an injury as far as recovery because of the function of the Achilles and the movements that are necessary in basketball, a lot of stop, start, cutting, jumping. Now, of course, the knee and the ACL is important as well. The ACL is a ligament. The Achilles is a tendon. So the tendon connects muscle to bone, the ligament connects bone to bone. So they're a little bit different structures, and so rehab has to be treated a little bit differently. Now, in Tracy's experience and what happened to him is the first injury was the right ACL, and then the next year he injures and tears his left Achilles. So that what happens usually is that one side of the body you have a pretty major injury, you compensate with the other side. Even once you're recovered and you're getting back into playing and you're trying to get game ready, so there was more than likely he put some extra stress on that left side. And, you know, we have these inherent weaknesses. Our body's really good at adapting, and maybe he was using his calf or his Achilles to really help with pushing off or jumping to compensate for the right knee, but also any other weaknesses that he had. So in his case, you can't say one led to the other, but there's certainly some suggestion that occurred. And now it's like, okay, well, are these injuries contributing to his slump and
right.
what's going on?
Right.
I would say yes, and we're at the heat or the middle of the season, and a lot of practices were Big Ten games. They're kind of rough. They're a little bit physical. I think what was interesting last night, what John Gross did with him is took him in, put him in, took him out. There was a lot more substituting with Tracy Abrams.
Right.
And I feel like that's probably what needs to happen. He needs more rest and not playing as many continuous minutes because and the other thing is when these guys go onto the bench and they rest, they're sitting.
Right.
And so it would be really a good idea if they could just even walk a little bit, go back into the back, come out, but that often can't happen. But I think it's helping him total body to get some of the rest minutes to play a little bit more checkered and not continuous as far as his minutes. And look, he hit a 3-pointer last night against Iowa, right? So, which isn't hard to do against Iowa.
That's right. Jeff, an Iowa native. That's right.
That's right.
Jeff Schroeder, I don't even have any follow-up questions. He answered all of them. Obviously, he knows what he's talking about. If you have an ache or pain, you can get a free consultation at Mettler Center Physical Therapy. Just go to MettlerCenter.com for more information. Jeff, thanks. Always appreciate the info.
Okay, you guys have a good one.
You too, buddy. That is good stuff. Yeah,
I was going to say, he said rest it.
I had a question, and then he answered it. He started talking about it. I'm like, never mind, I don't have the question anymore. He was alluding, you see it in football a lot, where they'll go ride the bike.
Yeah, and they got a bike in the tunnel.
Okay.
But, sometimes they just need to get the guy right away.
Right.
It's kind of hard to do sometimes.
Abrams! Tracy! He's listening to his iPod riding the bike.
Taking spinning class right now. Cody Westro on 670thescore.com. He covers...
What is happening to the Bulls?
I told you they'd be interesting.
You're right.
Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler going off last night after a collapse. Boy. We'll talk about that, where they're going from here.
And Brad Sturdy also next hour to chat more Illini and a victory. Yes, it is the Tay and J Show.
Congratulations, Andre Davis, detective of the Champaign Police Department, for being our law enforcement official of the month.
Why am I in this? You know, my interest in doing law enforcement it originated when I was a child. There was a case out of Atlanta, and I think I was like 8 years old when this case was going on, and I'm talking about the Atlanta child murders. And ever since then, I always wondered, you know, where's the protection at? Who would want it to harm a child? Why did these things happen? And ever since then, that curiosity had just manifested itself into where I'm at today.
So that is a job I couldn't do.
Well, you know, first, I have to give thanks to my family for keeping me grounded. I have a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful kids, and, you know, I've learned to, once I walk out the door, I mean, it's hard to stop thinking about some of the cases that I work, but I have to just to be normal for my family.
Law Enforcement Official of the Month, brought to you by Hickory River Smokehouse. There's nothing better at 1706 North Cunningham in Urbana. Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Live from New York, the Fox Report.
I'm Chris Foster. President Trump's meeting with Mexico's president next week is canceled over disagreement about who's paying for a border wall. President Trump spoke in Philadelphia today.
Not backing down from his campaign rhetoric, President Trump told Republican lawmakers that one of his major legislative priorities is building a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border.
I've said many times that the American people will not pay for the wall. And I've made that clear to the government of Mexico.
After the president's speech to House and Senate Republicans, his spokesman said that Mexico would pick up the cost by paying a 20% tax on all of its exports into the U.S. The dispute led Mexico's president to cancel a meeting with the president scheduled for next week. In Philadelphia, John Decker, Fox News.
The head of the U.S. Border Patrol Agency has been removed from that job. Fox confirms that Mark Morgan was told he had to go and chose to leave rather than fight it. Also speaking today at that Republican retreat in Philadelphia,
British Prime Minister Theresa May says her Conservative Party shares the same principles that underpin the GOP agenda.
The principles of nationhood, family, economic prudence, patriotism, and putting power in the hands of the people.
The Prime Minister underscored economic and defense ties between the two countries and says she'll pursue a new trade agreement with the U.S. when she meets with President Trump here tomorrow. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Ohio's Attorney General is appealing a federal judge's decision that declared Ohio's new lethal injection process unconstitutional and delayed 3 upcoming executions. Police in Charlotte, North Carolina say an undercover cop fatally shot another driver who collided with his unmarked car and then pulled a handgun. You're on the Fox Report. Fair and balanced.
Pay fast with the Master Pass. Don't buy it. Master Pass it. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Simple and easy. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Don't buy it. Master Pass it. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Secure and so easy.
MasterPass, the simple, secure way to pay from MasterCard. Accepted at select merchants.
Don't buy it. MasterPass it.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? At Ford, we go further to make it protective by offering vehicles with the most 5-star crash ratings. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. 5-star ratings based among full-line brands offering multiple cars, pickup trucks, and utilities. Government 5-star safety ratings are part of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's new car assessment program. Go to safercar.gov for details. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
One of President Trump's immigration orders calls for stripping federal funds from sanctuary cities.
The basic premise here that local law enforcement in certain cities like Los Angeles and Oakland refuse to report undocumented immigrants they encounter to federal authorities. Exactly how far the president could go in terms of defunding is a legally grey area. But city leaders like San Francisco Supervisor Sandra Feuer say they will not back down.
As San Franciscans, this is where we are at our best.
An analysis by the Reuters news agency put the total amount of federal funds in play here at $2.25 billion. And given the money and the legal complexities, this is a fight that could well end up at the Supreme Court. In Los Angeles, Jonathan Hunt, Fox News.
On Wall Street, The Dow up 32 points today. The S&P and NASDAQ down a point apiece. A rare achievement for a high school senior.
The U.S. Military Academy at West Point, the Naval Academy, the Air Force Academy, and the Coast Guard Academy, all granting admission to Timothy Park from Fairfax County, Virginia.
I am feeling just absolutely amazing right now. It's like so excited.
It's on par with getting into 4 Ivy League schools with one more requirement, a congressional recommendation, except for the Coast Guard. The 18-year-old says he feels a call of duty extending back to his grandfather.
He had a debt of honor that he wanted to repay.
Right now, West Point's his top pick, but
I'm still keeping my options open.
And wherever Park decides to attend, his 4-year tuition is free. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
A baby hippopotamus born prematurely at the Cincinnati Zoo's hanging in there and showing signs of progress, according to a zoo spokeswoman. The calf was born 6 weeks early on Tuesday. Her mother, Bibi's 17 years old. The baby, 29 pounds at birth. Normal is 55 to 120 pounds. In New York, I'm Chris Foster, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Need a furnace expert this winter? Call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, overcast, a low of 26. Friday, overcast, high 29, low of 24. Saturday, overcast, high 31, a low of 24. Right now, overcast, 32 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
It just doesn't mean enough for guys around here to want to win ball games. And, they piss me off, but I can't be frustrated and I can't care too much for these guys. They got to care for themselves. So you got to do better, got to do better with knowing where your shot's coming and knock them down. You got to do better with knowing film, knowing personnel. This is a team. Just got to do better, man.
I heard a beep. I think I know what that means. Dwayne Wade was not very happy last night after the Chicago Bulls game, nor was Jimmy Butler.
The Bulls led by 10 over the Atlanta Hawks with just 2 minutes left to go. Hawks won on a 19-2 run to win.
Wow!
19-2 run.
Holy cow.
Hit 3 straight threes. Bulls couldn't score. It was ugly.
Did I read something today that, Fred Hoiberg's basically like, you guys just run the team?
I think that's simplistic. I think he's trying to, but I don't know if anybody's listening to him or he's got the players to do what he wants to do.
He's like, you know what, Dwayne, you just run the team.
Well,
I'll just be your coach.
Seems like this ain't going so well.
No.
It's interesting though. And they're in the playoffs right now. And,
right.
I mean, we never thought they were going to be title contenders, but hey, it's Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler and Rajon Rondo. Well, Rondo's on the bench and Dwayne Wade looks old.
Nobody
Jimmy
wants
Butler's
Rondo.
good.
Yeah.
And the rest of the guys aren't very good. But it's always interesting around the Bulls. And let's get to the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line. Welcome on our guy, Cody Westerlund, 670thescore.com.
Best song ever.
With outdated lyrics.
Cody Westerlund, talking Bulls, red, black, and white. Maybe Joe Kim picks a fight.
With the Knicks.
Cody Westerlund, Rose Tips, Rose Pop, Dog, and Taj.
2 of those guys are on the roster. Jimmy's not even on this.
No. Poor Jimmy. He's going to yell at this, too. And Dwayne.
It's gotten a lot better since we did this thing.
Yeah. All right, Cody Westerlund, 670thescore.com. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing today?
Well,
this
we're
is a
doing
fun team to cover, huh?
They're always entertaining. I'll say that much. And I think about last night, and this blow-up didn't even involve Rajon Rondo, who's the guy everyone had the money on for blowing up here in the course of the next month, as he's been relegated to the bench and then a second unit role. This came from the stars, Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade. And I got to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this covering sports at any level. Obviously, this isn't going to happen as much at high school or college level. But, I mean, even in the pros, you're going through this. And the degree to which Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade scorched their teammates is rarely seen even in Chicago sports history, just talking to some of the the veterans in the city today, they were thinking about that. And this kind of puts Bulls on notice and at a crossroads, and all eyes are on the Bulls, and they're pretty much a disaster right now.
So what does that do? Or what were they hoping for?
Right.
Are they just trying to get a rise out of these players so they play better? Or are they trying to send a message to Hoiberg? Are they trying to send a message to Gar Forman and John Paxson? What was the point of what they did to air that out publicly? Because they both said the same thing. They obviously knew what they were doing.
Yeah, you can't say all of that and not have it and just have it directed at one person. I mean, this is a message for the entire organization. Dwayne and Jimmy both could have gone harder at Fred. They were given questions in which they could have gone harder at Fred, and they didn't. They expressed some displeasure over the three-point attempts by Paul Zipser and Nico Mirotic in the final 90 seconds when they didn't get the shot, but they didn't say Fred just told them to give the ball to Zipser or anything. They were more upset with their teammates. But when you go to this length and degree, and it's a coordinated, calculated effort to be in concert and harmony with that message, like, that means something for more than just teammates. There's still a message to the front office there. But certainly in the immediate, in the short term, in a vacuum, it's very much directed at teammates. They're not happy with Nico Mirotic. Dwayne Wade had a quote in which he said, if you're going to shoot that shot, you better put the work in and made it before and believe in yourself, basically. And I don't see that. And I'm almost 100% certain that was directly toward Nico Mirotic, because they're not calling Paul Zipser out too much. They might have been annoyed by that three-pointer he took, but it was the Mirotic shot when the Bulls were down 2 and had a chance to tie or go ahead, where he got the ball and shot it, and I think Dwayne or Jimmy wanted the ball back on that possession. And I think more than anything, the gist is you want to say light a fire. I don't know if that's going to do any good.
Right.
But Jimmy and Dwayne also know that the approach they've been taking so far in this season to, show a little more class and be less direct and take the high road hasn't been working, because the team was still 23-23 entering last night, now a game under 500. What they were doing before wasn't working. They were fed up. They were figuring if they just walked out there and gave normal post-game quotes, the same level of inconsistency was going to continue. So I think they were kind of, their thought process was, let's try something new and see what happens, because we were stars. We were studs last night, 73 points between the two of them. And let's see what happens. We don't really care about the fallout because we're the two best players on the team, and our basketball pedigrees are more than anyone else can kind of boast in this organization, at least people that are involved in the day-to-day process. So I think they were just fed up with everything that happened. Now, whether it changes anything, that's up for debate.
Cody Westerland, 6'7" to thescore.com. Follow him on Twitter, at Cody Westerland. You just answered kind of what I was going to ask. It's up for debate. What is the thought in Chicago amongst you guys that cover this team? How do you think this is going to be taken? How do you think some of these other guys will respond? Do you think this team can take this and somehow make it into a positive?
I don't think so. This is a team that has struggled, I guess, with mental fortitude all season. And when you've been that inconsistent, I don't think words in which you get torched in the media, torched publicly by the two headliners on the team, are going to help you overcome that and be consistent in a night all of a sudden. Look, this is a Bulls team that's had a lot of chances to have a fire lit in them this year. All these young guys have been in the rotation at some point and out of the rotation at some point. Most of these guys have had a chance with games on the line to contribute and play, and then the next night might take a DNP coach's decision. So they've had opportunities, didn't make the most of them. I don't see how a team that, again, doesn't have that mental confidence, not even saying anything about basketball ability, but that mental aptitude, I don't see how it turns around when they couldn't turn it around before, and you're just putting them on blast even more so. And you got to think, Isaiah Cannon tweeted something out or Instagrammed something late last night about teams win and lose together. He might have deleted it, but that was clearly intended for Jimmy and D-Wade. And Darren Grant tweeted some stuff out that said he plays to win every day, and it's not just about the paycheck. He's kind of about the blood, sweat, and tears and the process. And that was pretty much directly directed at them. So I would say they're not taking it well so far in the immediate aftermath, because they felt the need to say something after they heard this. So I think this probably, most likely, just sends the Bulls further downward on a spiral and doesn't help anything. But again, hey, it's good entertainment and drama.
That's right. Cody Westerlund, 670thescore.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody Westerlund. I got two more for you, Cody, on the Bulls, and I wanted to get your opinion just on the NBA right now. But with this Bulls team, Fred Hoiberg, I thought he was going to be better. I thought he could be a really good NBA coach, and maybe he can be. I look at the roster and say, Gar Forman, you hired this guy. Then you surround him. You said you wanted to get younger and athletic, which fits what he wants. He should have a bunch of shooters because that's what he has. And he's a guard who can score, a point guard who can score. He hasn't put that around him. So why has this not worked? Is it more on Fred Hoiberg or is it more on Gar Forman and John Paxson?
I would say first off, it's roster construction. Past Jimmy Butler, this team doesn't have a lot of good basketball players. Dwayne Wade's a good basketball player, obviously, still, but he can't do it quite at the level night in and night out. For the most part, he's been solid this year, not as efficient as usual, but they just don't have enough, like you said, pieces that fit. There was no thought process it was more of a throw them together and figure it out than it was planned continuity in any way, and the Rajon Rondo signing reflected that. Because if you think he's the worst type of guy to put by Jimmy Butler, because Butler needs the ball in his hands a lot, and that's what he's blossomed doing, and he deserves the ball in his hands, and Rondo does nothing for you if he's playing off the ball. So I definitely put most of it on the front office reconstructing this team. Again, I don't see any coach in the NBA, save for maybe Greg Popovich, that could have squeezed much more than another win or two out of this Bulls team, because they are pretty bad and pretty inconsistent way too often. Now, where it falls on Fred, I think, the Bulls touted him as a great communicator when they hired him. That was literally the first sentence in the press release in Gar Forman's quote. He's a great communicator, and if you remember back to the end of the Tom Thibodeau era, they were really mad that he didn't communicate well with everyone. You know, he didn't say hi to the secretary, and he didn't say everything to the basketball analytics staff, this and that. Fred Hoiberg will have everyone on the same page. Well, he's not communicated well with Joakim Noah last year. He didn't communicate well with Rajon Rondo, according to Rajon Rondo. And if this was just a one-off or two instances here, it'd be one thing. It'd be another thing if Jimmy Butler called him out last year and you just kind of say, hey, well, Jimmy's finding his way, being a leader. But at this point, you have Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade on message on the same thing, and you have 3 point guards in Michael Carter-Williams, Rajon Rondo, and Jaren Grant, who are saying they don't know their role day-to-day. They're not sure what their role is in that night's game. When Jaren Grant started the other night when they mixed it up and had him start and put Michael Carter-Williams on the bench, Rajon Rondo that morning was under the impression that Michael Carter-Williams was going to be the number 2 point guard when actually it was Rajon Rondo. So Fred didn't even communicate that clearly enough to him. Or if he did, they're apparently not understanding what he's saying, and there's a breakdown there somewhere. So there's just a lot of problems. Fred can be a little stubborn sometimes with rotations and decisions and maybe not going through what he should do. I think at this point you just turn the ball over to Jimmy Butler at point guard and even start him there if you want to see what happens. In past years, he went with Mirotic too long last year early in the season in his rookie coaching season. So it's a lot of different factors. But if he had the personnel, he'd certainly be better. But what he can control, the communication, I think needs to be better on his end too.
So where does this team go from here, Cody? Because you have I think he's a superstar now in Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, sure.
I think he's a top 10, at least top 15 player in the league. And you can trade him off and just try to get a chance to find another guy just like him, or you can try and find some other pieces and try and find the piece to go with him. The problem, like you're saying, is they don't really have anything else around him. I mean, Doug McDermott, is he really a piece to build around? Niko Mirotic obviously has issues. So where does this thing go from here with this roster construction in the future of the Chicago Bulls?
That's a really good question. They can start by trading Taj Gibson for an asset in the next month ahead of the February 23rd trade deadline. Maybe get a late first-round pick for Taj Gibson who could help a contender out. He's still a consistent basketball player. Get one piece there. Of course, they'll try to trade Rondo. I don't think he has any trade value whatsoever at all, so I see him more likely to be waived or bought out in some capacity. But really, if you're going to trade Jimmy, here's the thing. Like you said, I agree that he's ascended to be a top 10 player now. But you can't just trade him for a solid guy in one pick, in my mind. And right now, the market's kind of dictating no one's giving them a terrific offer for Jimmy Butler. Like, just bouncing around on the top of my head, not saying this is something at all that's been discussed, but Celtics have been tied to the Bulls and trade talks before. Like, I think you have to get like a Jay Crowder, Avery Bradley, and a top 5 pick at least for Jimmy if you're going to trade him, preferably 2 picks in some capacity, because that's what he's doing. We forget he threw up 40 points last night in a efficient fashion, and it didn't matter because they lost, but like he's doing this every single night, and if the Bulls are going to trade him, they need a lot of good quality pieces and just get more basketball players that are good. I think it's still more likely that they'll hang on to Jimmy Butler going to next season with him and try to build around him. And they just need to get younger guys. They need to get us 2 more shooters. Nico Mirotic's future, he's a restricted free agent up in the air in Chicago. After those comments last night, if you're going to keep Jimmy Butler, I think it's more likely that Nico walks, given his inconsistency and the lack of belief that teammates are basically expressing in him. They do want to retain Chris Felicio, the backup center, the young guy who's broke out and restricted free agent and stuff. He's flashed, but it's just about fitting pieces around these guys. And I think you have to, instead of focusing on getting a point guard, like just focus on anyone in the backcourt that can fit alongside Jimmy Butler well. And that's someone that can shoot and attack the rim on 1 or 2 bounces kind of on a straight line when he creates for others. You don't need a classic point guard next to Jimmy Butler if you're going to build around him.
Cody Westerlund, before we let you go, besides the Warriors and Cavs and the Bulls, who's the most interesting team in the NBA right now for you?
I still am entertained by the Toronto Raptors. Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan are playing terrific basketball. I think it would be fun for them to add one more piece and make another run at the Cavs. Like, when you're the Raptors, like, if you're a Final Four team here, Eastern Conference Finals, like, you have to make a run for it and go for it. Like, you're not building for next year, like, let's get LeBron when he's 34 or 35. Like, you try to get him now. And if they add one more piece of power forward, I know Paul Millsap's been on the trade market. Now he's off of it. Even Ty Gibson, we just talked about the Bulls there. I think he would fit fine in Toronto with them. I would like to see them make a run and make the Eastern Conference Finals a lot of fun, because those guys play fun basketball. Like Kyle Lowry and DeRozan, they came to the United Center and the Bulls beat them in overtime because of Jimmy Butler's heroic. But those guys play an entertaining brand. They're cool guys. They're lighthearted and stuff. So I like the Raptors. I like watching them. I'm thinking off the top of my head, there's so much Bulls drama, Jeremy, that I guess I haven't seen any like breakout teams or sleepers here enough lately.
Well, the Knicks are kind of interesting again, and we kind of saw that coming when Rose and Noah went there. When they're all excited, I was like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just basically turning yourself into the Bulls with Melo.
Yeah, basically. And now you got the Melo Phil Jackson drama. Not a good year for the banana boat guys. Like Dwayne Wade's calling out his teammates, Chris Paul's hurt, Carmelo's got drama, and LeBron's yelling at the Cavs front office. So those guys getting a little older and a little crankier, it seems like.
Cody, I just want to point out my Sixers are only 5.5 games behind the Bulls.
Oh, Joel Embiid, I should have said that. They're at the United Center on Sunday. Looking forward to that.
Are they really? I need to start getting serious about this.
Joel Embiid's a dude.
He is a dude. He's good. He's really good. That'll be fun to watch these six. Hopefully, we've been down for so long. It'd be nice if they could finally make a step up that ladder. I'm sorry. That's a little Illinois joke. Cody Westerlund, 670thescore.com. Follow him on Twitter. He does an excellent job at Cody Westerlund. Have fun covering this team, my friend.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good rest of the show.
Thank you, buddy. Cody Westerlund, he is one of the best. That's awesome. Yeah, I noticed that Philadelphia's got 17 wins this year.
That's right.
Look out.
Usually that's a nice season for you guys.
Right. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? I don't think we've gotten to 17 in a few. The other thing, Myers Leonard averaging about 6 points, 5 boards a game.
Yeah, he's a role
24
player.
Years old.
He's a role player.
So I was at the dentist today.
Got to make a lot of money in the NBA being a role player.
Yes. I was at the dentist today down in Villa Grove, and Phil's a good friend with Myers. And I said, have you talked to him in a while? He's like, I haven't talked to him in a while. And it just struck me. I'm like, how old is Myers? And I started laughing. I'm like, is he like 25 or something? So we Googled it, and Philip's like, he's 24. I'm like, holy smoke. It feels like he's been in the NBA for as long as we've done this radio show.
He's been there. This is, what, 5th year?
Isn't that unreal? Good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time he hits 28, 29 years old, he could be a major.
I did see a rumor that Darren Williams could be the Cavs' backup point guard soon.
Ooh, get him a championship.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but I did see that. So
that'd be cool.
Houston's one of the stories of the year.
Yes.
Mike D'Antoni and James Harden have been a match made in heaven. That offense is ridiculous. But, I mean, it's all pointing towards Golden State and Cleveland.
Amen.
It's just gearing up to that series, which is probably going to be epic yet again.
James Harden, man. Remember him at Arizona State? Illinois played him in Maui.
I remember.
I remember that. Who's the second best record-wise team in the NBA without looking?
San Antonio?
Yes! I mean, do they ever go away?
No, they're good. I mean, Kawhi Leonard and Marcus Aldridge, really good.
There they are.
They got the best coach.
It's unbelievable. They've got 36 wins. Golden State leads the NBA with 39, and there's San Antonio.
And Houston's third at 34, and
wow.
then you get Cleveland and the Clippers
and
at
the
30.
Clips. That's unbelievable. But once again, San Antonio just trucking right along.
If you want to weigh in, 359-2255, 217-359-2255. We'll talk some more Illini Hoop coming up with Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. And in the 5 o'clock hour, looking forward to this as well. Chuck Kaplinski of Chuck's Movies Picks. You see him on the News Gazette, WCIA all the time. He's going to join us in studio, talk about the Oscar nominations. We'll talk about the year's best films, all of that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We talk with Chuck a couple times a year, and it's always a blast.
I love it. When we come back, too, after the update, I have an invention that is just so underrated, and I want to get your feeling on it.
All right.
I want to get your thoughts on it.
That's a tease.
That is a good tease. It's the Tay and J Show.
Norm Miller here, chairman of Interstate Batteries. You know, without batteries, life would be pretty lifeless. That's why Interstate All Battery Centers carry them in every size, shape, and style, so you can drive, drill, call, film, or do whatever it is you want to do. Stop in today. They've got the power to keep you going. Interstate All Battery Center. Outrageously dependable.
Interstate All Battery Center. You'll find them outrageously dependable just over Interstate 74 at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign, with batteries for most every application in stock.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Dentist office, may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to cancel my teeth whitening appointment.
Oh, may I ask why?
I found a teeth whitener that works in 5 minutes that I can do from home.
Can I ask what it is?
It's called Power Swabs, and it whitens your teeth in 5 minutes, doesn't leave my teeth feeling sensitive, and it's a lot less expensive than visiting the dentist.
Hi, I'm John Greenhut, the CEO of Power Swabs, and if you want to whiten your teeth on average 2 shades in 5 minutes and 6 shades in 7 days, then try Power Swabs. There's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth and you're done. It removes stains on natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. Try Power Swabs risk-free by calling 1-800-204-1201. That's 1-800-204-1201. I guarantee your friends and coworkers will be wowed by your new white smile. Try it risk-free and get free shipping and handling today. Dial 1-800-204-1201. That's 1-800-204-1201.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Habitat for Humanity of Champaign County and the Home Builders Association of East Central Illinois proudly presents Dare to Dream, Dream to Build 2017, Friday, February 10th from 6 to 9 p.m. By joining hands again this year, Habitat for Humanity and the Home Builders Association continue to work together to empower families and help to strengthen our community. Building affordable, energy-efficient, and secure homes is helping make the dream of homeownership a reality here in Champaign County. You can help. Buy your tickets now for this evening out fundraising event online at daretodream2017.com.
F.E. Moran Security Solutions is proud to sponsor a law enforcement official of the month, which is Detective Andre Davis. Navy guy?
Yes.
Navy guy, and so got out, went to school, joined the Champaign Police Force when?
In 2004.
Made detective when?
In 2013.
Okay, so you've been detective 3 years, and going on 4 now.
Yes.
Specializing in child crimes. So that is a job I couldn't do.
Well, first, I have to give thanks to my family for keeping me grounded. I have a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful kids. kids. And, I've learned to really, once I walk out the door, I mean, it's hard to stop thinking about some of the cases that I work, but I have to just to be normal for my family. But secondly, again, this generates from, or it stems from a passion that I had since I was a kid. And so right now I'm living the dream.
Effie Moran Security Solutions, proud to sponsor our Law Enforcement Official of the Month. Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I'm Jeremy Warner. There's your 4:30 Sports Update brought to you by the Mettler Center. If you're looking to take your fitness to the next level, set up a free 30-minute consultation by visiting MettlerCenter.com. Illinois needed a jump start following 3 straight losses, and Illini coach John Gross finally handed the keys to Tijon Lucas.
Yeah, baby.
18-year-old provided a spark for a stalling team.
Get into my car.
That's right. Lucas did help the Illini take a 10-0 lead in the first few minutes, carried that momentum to a 76-64 win over Iowa at the State Farm Center. Lucas's box score didn't look all that gaudy. 6 points, 6 assists, 2 turnovers, but it sparked the Illini, as did Michael Finke, who scored 17 points on 10 shots. Malcolm Hill scored double digits for the 15th straight game. The senior said Lucas gave the team a jolt.
He's a great playmaker. I think he makes great choices on the court. He has his fair share of turnovers every now and then, but I don't really care about that. I mean, he had the one late, but, stuff happens. I mean, he's still a freshman. I think he's grown so much throughout the season. I mean, there was a point where he wasn't playing at all. He wasn't in the rotation, So for him to keep his head up, then he, took advantage of the opportunity, kind of like looking back at my freshman year. That's what it reminds me of, honestly. And, as long as he keeps working hard, he's great for our team.
Malcolm was excited about the win, by the way.
I was going to say.
Illini now in a 5-way tie for 9th place in the Big Ten.
Awesome.
They head to Penn State looking for their first Big Ten road win. Illini have lost 5 of their last 7 at University Park. In the Big Ten tonight, Northwestern hosts Nebraska, Michigan hosts Indiana. If Michigan and Nebraska lose, Illinois is tied for 7th place. Illinois State, hot, 10th straight win last night. They're 9-0 in the Valley after a 71-66 win over Indiana State. Support yourself, support community groups, and keep CU unique when you shop online. CMI online at CMIClean.com. They're female-owned and operated. Owners Betsy and Brad Parks would like to give you and your business a quote. Whether you need floor mating, aerosols, soaps, carpet and bathroom care, laundry products, or cleaning chemicals, you'll find it at CMI. Think local first. Think CMI online at CMIClean.com or call 359-6262.
All right, it's the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner. If you'd like to weigh in, you can do so on the Chief Bauer text line. That's 359-2255. Josh from Urbana said, I have only one thing to say. The Bulls stink. That's all I want to say about that. Channeling my inner Forrest Gump. I like that. You can also call us on that number, 359-2255.
There are some guys out there who could be on the trade market that would have a little bit of interest. Like the Bulls need a point guard who can score.
Right.
It's kind of like Illinois. They need that guy who can really initiate a lot of things. Right now, their best point guard is Jimmy Butler. And I don't mind that because he's really, really good.
Sure.
But they could use a point guard who could score. And there's a couple guys out there. Goran Dragic.
Yeah.
Of the Miami Heat who are terrible. Eric Bledsoe.
Okay.
Brandon Knight.
Ricky Rubio. That's your guy.
No, thank you. Ricky Rubio. Can't score. Can't shoot. But those guys all are on big contracts with loads of money. And are you going to invest a lot of your space into them?
No.
So, but there's not a lot of out there, right? I mean, so you got to get creative. It's a big time for Gar Forman and John Paxson, who Bulls fans
no doubt
have a lot of faith in right now.
I'm not cutting down on the NBA here, so don't you get defensive on me because I know you do. Is the NBA well run with regards to that? In other words, it almost feels like the Bulls are in this spot that they can't get better.
Oh, they can. Look at teams like Toronto. I mean, you might not think of it. We probably don't talk about them a lot. But the Toronto Raptors have gotten a lot better because they found 2 guys and developed them, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, who have been great. And they found good pieces around them, and they're now one of the best teams in the NBA. But the thought is, can you be in the middle. Have just a Jimmy Butler, or just go to the next state, the Indiana Pacers.
Sure.
Paul George is a star, a superstar. But Miles Turner's their next best player they drafted in the middle of the first round. Can you really get to the top? Well, you got to hit.
Yeah.
You got to hit on mid to late round picks, and that's hard in the NBA. I mean,
the Bulls did with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, and that's very rare.
Very rare.
So usually, teams start to take the Milwaukee Bucks kind of way, where they try to be bad for a couple of years, or the 76ers kind of way.
Bad for a decade.
That's painful, though.
It is.
That's very, very painful to do something like that. So, I mean, Minnesota's done it, but they're 17-28 with all that talent they have right now.
It's unreal.
So and then you have teams that stay at the bottom because they even miss on those picks, like Sacramento.
Sure.
Been terrible for a long time. Orlando.
Yep.
Brooklyn. Now Detroit has really struggled to get out of where they are. So it doesn't always get better. You got to find a generational talent sometimes, and there's not very many of them.
And we always call that purgatory area where you're just kind of right in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's like Jimmy Butler. And then, of course, you went and got Dwayne Wade, hoping you'd be a little bit better, and Rondo.
Yeah, that was more about just being entertaining.
Yeah, just getting folks in the
Dwayne
United
Wade's
Center.
angry at the Miami Heat? Sure, we'll take Dwayne Wade. And I still don't care. I don't mind that move. The Rondo move is what didn't make
that
much
one
sense.
Didn't make sense. But it's almost as though the Bulls were good enough to be kind of in this middle, but not bad enough to kind of get down and get some picks, because I don't know.
And Lon, when you employ somebody on the hot seat, or somebody that needs to win like Gar Forman, I don't even know if he's on the hot seat, but they're not interested in a long rebuild because they don't think they got that much time. But your owner, who this kind of reminds you of a certain other team he owns.
Somehow
the White Sox and Bulls have a lot of similarities.
Yes, they
and what
do.
I loved about what the White Sox did, they finally picked a lane.
Yep.
The Bulls still haven't picked a lane, but it's more complicated now because Jimmy Butler is a superstar.
Yes, he is.
And
I don't think you get rid of him.
You have one of those. I'll even be conservative here. You have one of the 15 best players in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to just trade him.
Yeah.
Because you're just hoping
You're
to
not
get another
get
guy
one of the
like
other
him.
14 guys.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Boston Celtics did a good rebuild, found the right coach, and they got they got Al Horford to sign as a free agent. That's rare to happen with a new CBA.
Sure.
They want guys to stay on the same team, and they're very incentivized to stay on the same team now. They got some lower picks, and it's very hard to do that. And even Boston, they're really not a title contender.
No, that's tough.
Until they get another star. So.
It's tough. 359-2255. This came over Twitter, and, I'm a Saluki, so obviously I pointed this out, but I don't want this to be an SIU story, just the state, the kind of the state of where we are in college athletics, which can be scary. SIU is eliminating two sports, men's and women's tennis, and the reduction of scholarships in men's swimming and diving, and this is going to save approximately $660,000 annually for SIU, and they're doing it basically because of student fees are down, and what was the other? It was student fees and one other thing. They're going to give these kids, of course, their scholarships through the end, but it's scary when you look at some of these colleges that just can't. Southern's got a $21 million athletic budget, and they're struggling. I mean, the state's struggling. The enrollment's down at SIU, and you see schools like Eastern and SIU and even Illinois State to a degree, and you feel bad for it because the men's tennis team at SIU, even though nobody talks about it, especially around here, and for good reason, but they've won 18 conference championships, and they won the conference last year, and now they're out. They're axed.
Sad.
And it is sad, and it's too bad, but, you wonder if that's not going to start happening more often. That's why at Illinois you love, like, the idea of the Big Ten Network.
Well, even, I know, Cal, Berkeley.
Yeah, you had mentioned that.
There was, like, the university's discussed. I doubt it will happen because of the alumni, but they've discussed just cutting athletics.
Wow.
Because of how much it costs and how much debt it puts to school. I mean, Illinois is in a lot of debt right now, but they're going to pay it off because they have the support to pay it off and they have the contracts to pay it off and all that, but they're in debt because of the facilities and all that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a big investment.
Huge.
And you got to have the state money coming in, and obviously some of these states have struggled with this. I also wanted to put this out there because I know our boy Cliff in Urbana would hate if we didn't. There's still hope for a professional soccer team.
I may have to become a soccer fan soon.
Coming to St. Louis. I did see earlier this morning that one of the Board of Aldermen shut it down 2-6.
Okay.
But then they got back together, and the Aldermen's Ways and Means Committee passed an amended measure to help fund a Major League Soccer team by a vote of 5-4. The first vote failed 6-2. The full Board of Aldermen expected to vote next week whether to place the measure on the April ballot. Because the deadline for April ballot issues was Tuesday, a judge would also have to give the go-ahead. Some aldermen cited concerns about funding a stadium when the city is struggling to provide basic services, which is what they're supposed to do first over a sports team.
That is correct.
But committee chairman Stephen Conway called the decision an insult to voters, saying it shows aldermen don't trust them to vote on the issues. So it seems like this is still alive and that it could still happen.
I think it'd be cool for St. Louis. You realize that city is now down to 2 professional teams, the Blues and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Now that the Rams have left, of course, they used to have the St. Louis Spirits back in the day. Bob Costas is your play-by-play guy, and of course the NBA left. Or it wasn't even the NBA then. I think it was the ABA. Were they in the NBA?
St. Louis Hawks went to
the Hawks. I'm sorry, I said Spirits. Yeah, Hawks. But it's one of those situations where I think St. Louis would support soccer because that is a grassroots soccer in St. Louis in that area, and even in this state down there in Belleville, Collinsville, all those areas down there, it's huge. Soccer is huge, and so
Kansas City, it's huge too, right?
And I think they'd be able to support a team down there. I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be really cool.
Frank Cusimano said the key to getting the bill passed was the St. Louis agreeing to 2.5% ticket tax to the city. That amount could be $7 to $12 million.
Okay,
I'm guessing that's annually.
Well, I promised Cliff and Urbana that if St. Louis, if they were able to purchase and get an MLS team, I'm all in. From day one, I'm going to learn soccer, and I'm going to be a St. Louis, whatever they'll be called, MLS fan. Now, inventions. I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
A minute ago, it was the last hour. I sat there the whole time, and my lips were just killing me.
Yeah.
And they're dry, and I'm like, so I go out to my truck. And I'm like panicked because I've got 7,000 chapsticks, but I can't find any of them. But I found one.
Yeah.
And I threw that on my lips. Is that one of the most underrated inventions ever, chapstick?
Do you ever use it? I like it.
See, like me, I don't use it a lot because I think the more you use it, the more you need to use it.
I usually have one in my car.
Right. But when you need it.
It is a satisfying feeling.
Oh, I put that on walking into the building, coming back at the top of the hour, and I'm like, my goodness, this is one of the best feelings I've had all year. And it's 26 days in.
I haven't. I would think electricity.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
The internet.
Cell phones.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
The assembly line.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's certain things. The car.
Yeah, the automobile.
The automobile worked out pretty well. The plane gets us places, but
the wheel.
The wheel back in the day.
But when it comes to
that stinking wheel.
When it comes to toiletries.
Yeah, the chapstick, man.
I'm wondering how far down that list that one is for me.
Yeah.
Because toothbrush is pretty high up there for me.
That's huge.
Soap.
Toilet paper comes in handy.
Toilet paper, yes.
Comes in handy as well. Shampoo. I'm not a big conditioner guy.
No, neither am I.
Don't need that for my hair necessarily.
I don't have hair, so
right.
I don't really need that conditioner. I still use shampoo sometimes.
You do use shampoo. Okay,
I guess it's good for my scalp.
Now, does Tiff have 18,000 shampoo and conditioners all over the place?
She's got you know how you got those. Everybody's got.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You got your shelves in there. We have 2 on each side. She's got 2. I got 2.
Awesome.
I have my loofah, which is great. Loofah.
I've never used a loofah.
Do you use a wash rag?
Yes. I'm old school.
I
man.
don't get wash rags.
I'm old school, and I'll be honest with you. I'm just going to.
I feel like they don't get anything off.
I'm going to come. I honestly don't even use a. I'm not coming out. I'm honestly going to say this. I don't even use a wash rag. Really.
No, that's okay.
I soap. I shampoo the heck out of my hair, and then I use my hands for my pits and everything else. Yeah, I don't use it.
It's not ridiculous.
Okay, but
the loofah makes you feel. I got a loofah. I got a big thing of shampoo and a big thing of soap. That's all.
Done.
My wife has like 80 different little things around.
Right. That whoever made those shelving, like guys don't have shelving.
There should be one that is way bigger.
Yes, just for the female, and then we should have our own bathroom with our one little thing in the corner. Do you shave in the shower?
No.
I do. I shave
right when I get out of the shower.
Do you? See, I shave blind in the shower, and then I kind of get out and make sure I don't.
That explains it.
Right. I mean, is it uneven?
I was going to say something.
Are you saying, is it uneven?
See, I have to do a line because I got the.
Well, yeah. See, I shave once every month, basically. And it's just finally to the point where I'm like, it's starting to look really stupid. So I better shave today.
Where does
I bought one
Chat
of those little,
Stick rank on your inventions?
Yeah, send it in.
I'd say it's probably like 30,925 for me.
Exactly. Okay, so way down. But boy, when you need it on a certain day.
Underrated, maybe.
Okay, maybe that was more I was going at. Okay. Maybe more underrated.
Brad Sturdy, OrangeandBlueNews.com to talk about his favorite toiletry next.
Tay and J Show.
Hey, it's me, your finest. What, you don't know what I sound like? Well, it ain't pretty. So get a precision tune-up from the experts to save up to 30% on energy bills and keep me quietly heating all season long. Though I do have a beautiful singing voice. Oh, Danny boy.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, get $41 off a precision tune-up. For expert service guaranteed, call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966. Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com.
Experience the credit union difference. It's people helping people. Our goal is to serve all of our members well, including those of modest means. Our members are fiercely loyal for this reason. They know their credit union will be there for them in bad times as well as good. Experience the credit union difference with the U of I Community Credit Union. Visit one of our branches today or visit us at uoficreditunion.org.
U of I Community Credit Union for campus and community.
From keeping your money safe and secure to helping achieve your financial dreams, the U of I Community Credit Union brings a fighting spirit to the financial wellness of this entire community. Experience the credit union difference. People helping people. And we're helping even more in 2017 with our brand new Member Advice Center. Get free online articles and blogs on a variety of topics related to your financial well-being. Go to uoficreditunion.org.
We're taking you out to the ball game to see the 2016 World Series champions. ESPN 93.5 is sending you on an all-expense-paid trip to Mesa, Arizona for Cubs spring training. So get out of the dugout and register to win now at Brusati's Pizza on Gregory and Urbana. Vapors E-Cigs LLC in Champaign, Danville, and Rantoul. Register today at Champaign Surplus in downtown Champaign, Honda BMW in Savoy, or at the U of I Meat Sales Room on Maryland Avenue in Urbana. The more you register, the more chances you have to win. Our Grand Slam Cubs spring training trip includes $1,000 cash in airfare or gas money. 3 nights at the Sheraton in Mesa, rental car included, exclusive post-game dinner with select players, tickets to 2 games, and custom Cubs merchandise. Don't take a rain check on this contest. Register now to win. Get rules, details, and a full list of registration locations at ESPNCU.com. Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I'm glad I was able to start. Thank Coach for that. Don't take it for granted, and I'm just keep coming in every day. You never know who's starting each game. Not really. I'll just make sure I'm focused. Remembering what the first play is and all that other stuff. I'm focused on that before nervous. It really wasn't nervous, just more ready. They was taking all day. Every day, you just got to come in with the mindset of getting better. That's what I've been doing. I never know when I'm going to play. You just got to be able to come out and practice, play hard, and time has come.
Yeah, that's Tejon Lucas. He got the start last night. Really helped get this squad rolling. Illinois jumped out to a 10-0 run.
About
10-0 lead. Yeah, no doubt. Illinois gets it done, 76-64, 12-8 overall, 3-5 in the Big Ten.
Let's get to the Jupiter's Crossing phone line. Talk more about that Illini basketball team that climbed a couple rings up the ladder. the last couple of days. He's Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com.
Studies on talking hoops. Yeah. Studies on talking hoops. Studies on talking hoops.
Sturdy's on and he's talking hoops. Sturdy's on and he's talking hoops.
Brad Sturdy, your daughter is like really good at athletics. I mean, she was on WA&D the other day, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. They had a little thing. They're having a good season.
That is so cool. Isn't it amazing? You and I get to see this, and Jeremy will soon with Torrin. Well, not soon, in a few years. Isn't it just
5'6", 200-pound middle linebacker?
Because Brad, right? Brad, unlike me, Brad was a good athlete. But you know what? Just to see your kids do well and excel. I know it's great, the academic part of it, but I let Gene handle that stuff. For them to actually do something well athletically, it is the best feeling in the world, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, you're so proud of them. You see the time they put in, the hard work, and you see it pay off. And so it's fun. Definitely fun. My oldest is going to college to play softball, and then
awesome.
This one's a basketball player, so it's kind of fun. I mean, they're competitive, so it's they work hard and they enjoy it, so that's what it's all about.
It's good to hear your wife was a good athlete, obviously. So that's good to hear.
Well, somebody had to, right?
Right, exactly.
Well, Brad, Tijon Luke has been working because he's gotten better.
No doubt.
I know we've all wanted to see him more throughout the season, but it's obvious he's gotten a lot better. John Gross finally hands him the keys last night. What do you think was the breaking point for John, and how does this team change with Tijon on the court?
Well, I think you reach a point where what you're doing isn't working. And, in talking to him, people around the program over the last, month or so, Tracy's been really struggling. There's no doubt about that. And we've seen it, we've seen where Tijon had taken a lot of minutes away from Jalen. But I think you reach a point where it's time to make a change. I mean, what you're doing isn't working, and you need to make that change. And I think it was as much about that as it was about, we've seen the improvement that Lucas has made, Tijon has made, but I think it was about, giving Tracy every opportunity, and it just wasn't working, and they needed to make a change, and they did. And he provides so much more on the floor because of his ability to stay in front of people. Tracy isn't quite as quick as he was, pre-injury, I don't think, and he's having trouble with the smaller, quicker guards. And I think Tijon can stay in front of those guys. He moves his feet really well. He also has great hands. I mean, last night, he had a steal when he went digging in the post, and that was great to see his recognition of what's going on. Now, he still makes mistakes, and he thinks he can get away with things that he can't get away with at this level, but that's part of it. And, his ability to handle the ball, pass the ball, find open guys, run ball screens, and just, he loves to pass. And it's great to have a point guard who's so good at passing, but also has the ability to score. I mean, knock down an open three.
Yeah.
Gets to the rim, and he's a good player. I mean, he's not like a super crazy, one of those crazy athletic kids going to dunk on somebody or something, but he is quick, and he's able to use that first step to get by people, and he handles the ball well, and so he's got a bright future. He still needs to get stronger, but I really like the team with him on the floor much better than when he's not on the floor.
Yeah, I agree. And Brad, I told Jeremy this, he knew it, but we talked about this in the first hour. But whether or not it's because of Tijon getting the start, but I loved the balance with regard to shooting last night on this team. And you can go down 4, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shots. Finke gets the most shots, of course, because he was knocking them down. But that balance of everybody kind of shooting in that same range, I thought that was key last night, and I like seeing that. I know there's games Malcolm Hill needs to shoot more. I get that. But to have a game where Malcolm doesn't have to do that and your team wins, that's huge.
No doubt. And I think there are two things. One is it's harder to guard when you're spreading the ball around. It's harder to defend everybody. I mean, it's easier if you get only, I got to shut down this one guy or two guys, we can do that. But when you have 5 guys on the floor who can score, it's very difficult to defend. The other thing is, Malcolm last night, he's playing defense. They asked him to guard Peter Jock. And I know Jock wasn't 100%, obviously, but Malcolm expended a ton of energy on the defensive end. So obviously that means, your offense suffers a little bit. Maybe you're not going to have to do that. Now, there are going to be times when it doesn't flow as well, and you got to have a guy go one-on-one at the end of a shot clock, and you'd want Malcolm to be that guy. But But last night they don't have to do that. They didn't have to resort to hero ball. The ball can move. The ball was singing 18 assists and 26 field goals, and that's what you want to see. That's really what you want to see out of your offense.
Brad, I think we looked at each other during the Maryland game and said, why doesn't Michael Finke get more shots? Finally, he did.
Yep.
He's on fire right now. This is the most confident I've seen him.
No doubt. I mean, he's shooting the ball with confidence. He's catching, ready to shoot, and he's not passing up those open looks. It seemed like he was passing them. Early in his career, sometimes he'd get a little miss one, and he'd think, well, I'm not going to shoot the next one. Well, last night he missed one, and then he took the next one, and he drained it. He just feels good. I think he's doing a lot of good things on the offensive glass too, and really working hard for position. We saw him, score on the post up. We saw him drive down the lane as the shot clock was running down and hit a floater. I mean, he did a lot of good things last night. It wasn't just the shooting, but he was aggressive offensively. Made some nice passes too as well. So I think they need to do some things to make sure he gets that many shots. Maybe not 10, but he needs to not be. There's so many games where he's 2 for 2. And you're wondering,
right.
well, why is he only taking 2 shots in 15, 16 minutes? And I guess some of that is on him. He needs to be a little more aggressive. But some of it is them just not doing a good job of finding open guys. I got a text last night during the game. It was kind of funny. I think he was in the corner one time, and nobody guarded him for about 15 seconds of a possession. If you watch the tape, you can see it. And they were like, why won't they throw the ball to Finke? And, well, it was Lucas wasn't in the game at that time, and it just seemed like, the ball doesn't move as well and end up being a tough shot, bailing out shot clock, and there you go. And so I think that they have to do a good job of recognizing when you got a guy who's hot, make sure he's getting shots when he's open, and that's something that I think will happen more with Lucas on the floor.
Well, Brad, believe it or not, I mean, after tonight, if the favorites win, Illinois could be tied for 7th place in the Big Ten. This Big Ten is not very good. The bottom to the middle is just a bunch of teams who are really similar to each other. You go to Penn State. I mean, we obviously know it's a must-win. You got to get a road win somewhere, a couple of them. But what is the path? I mean, John Gross has got his ladder out. But what is your path to getting this thing back on track?
Well, the biggest thing, I mean, they're 3-5. I think to have a realistic shot, you have to win 9 or 10 games in the Big Ten. Unless you're planning on winning the Big Ten tournament or making some run to the finals or something. I think you got to win 9 or 10 games. So that means you're looking at 6-4 or 7-3 down the stretch, right? So you've got some tough games. You got games at Northwestern that don't look great. You've got a home game against Wisconsin, and that's a team that I don't think that Illinois has beaten since John Gross arrived. So you got a couple tough games in there. So that means you don't have much margin for error. You have to take care of business on Saturday, or you have to steal one of these games that don't look like a win. And, even home games, last night, if you got to wonder last night if Peter Jock's 100%, if that game's a little bit tighter and or if Iowa makes free throws, it's a little bit, as you go down the stretch, it would have been a little tighter and a little tougher game. And so I think that's a situation where Illinois can't take any games for granted. They really got to bring it every day. I think that for me, 10-8, you'd feel pretty comfortable. 9-9 in the Big Ten, I think the Big Ten tournament would be huge then. And I think you're definitely on the bubble, and you're relying on other teams to lose and not have any bid stealers out of tournaments and things like that. And that makes it tough. So. Obviously there's a long road to go, a lot of games left, but they don't have much margin for error right now.
Yep, that's what they put themselves in. Brad, before we let you go, our buddy Norm Sanders down at the Belleville News-Democrat said Kansas in to see Mark Smith.
What?
Come on. Given what's happening at Illinois, this getting a lot more competitive and getting a little less confident given that Illinois is struggling so much.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think that Mark Smith's just a really good player. I think he is right now, I think most people think he and Tillman are the front runners for Mr. Basketball. Because Smith has been so good this year. I don't know if we had a guy come out of nowhere like him and just been that so dominant. With Goodwin getting hurt, obviously that makes it opens the door. And I think Smith's going to have, it wouldn't shock me if Kansas offers. I mean, I think that he's that kind of talent. Indiana saw him last week, so you're getting more and more high majors coming to see him, and it doesn't surprise me that happens because I think he's really good, and Illinois would be a great addition for Illinois. But at the end of the day, with a lot of the uncertainty around the program, it's going to be you want him to maybe you want him to commit now, but again, maybe you want him to wait and see what happens. And if you finish strong, then you can probably sell a little bit there. And if you don't finish strong, well, it's going to be the next guy's problem either way. So I think that's the situation with Smith, and I think he likes Illinois, though. I think it's an Illinois area. A lot of people around him, would love to see him in Illinois. So we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Well, that stuff is never easy, is it? Never easy. Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. That's where you read his stuff. Follow him on Twitter at Sturdy32. Brad, always enjoy it, buddy. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Talk to you soon. Brad Sturdy. Kansas now?
He's great. He could be your Mr. Basketball.
He's good.
Felt too good to be true, didn't it?
I know I'm not an evaluator.
So win some games. Win some dang games.
Oh, man. The first time I saw a video of him when he just blew by a guy and went up and just dunked it, I'm like, Illinois hasn't had that at any position in a long time.
Hey, we're going to talk some movies next hour.
Yes!
Chuck Kaplinski.
I forgot to look at your link, the Oscar link, but I'll wing it. I'm pretty good with winging it.
That's fine. That's fine, sir.
It's the Tay and J Show.
When the Illini men's basketball team plays, you save at Game Day Spirit, the official fan store of the Fighting Illini. Game Day Spirit appreciates loyal customers and loyal Illini fans like you, and that's why they're holding 3 fan appreciation days this month. On January 31st, cheer on the Illini men to victory and save 25% off everything in the store. Save on Illini hoodies, hats, tees, drinkware, and more at Game Day Spirit. Find them on Green Street in Campustown and at 1422 South Neal Street, Champaign.
Join the Jefferson Middle School Archery Program, 4-time state champions, for our annual Swihart Shootout, January 27th and 28th. Hi, I'm head coach Jason Brown, inviting you to our event that will bring close to 850 archers to the Champaign area. Don't miss out on this exciting day of archery at the Jefferson Middle School in the Champaign Parks District Leonard Center. Shooting on Friday the 27th runs from 5 to 8 p.m. and Saturday, January 28th, don't miss the action from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's the Jefferson Middle School Archery Program Swihart Shootout.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Maloney. Protesters marching through the streets of Philadelphia where Republicans are holding their annual policy retreat. President Trump telling the GOP lawmakers there's a lot of work to be done.
This Congress is going to be the busiest Congress we've had in decades, maybe ever.
The president's day started out with the cancellation of a meeting with our ally to the south.
In a sign that we are in a very new age of diplomacy, with diplomacy being conducted over Twitter, Donald Trump tweeted out this morning, quote, the U.S. has a $60 billion trade deficit with Mexico. It has been a one-sided deal from the beginning of NAFTA with massive numbers of jobs and companies lost. If Mexico is unwilling to pay for the badly needed wall, then it would be better to cancel the upcoming meeting, to which Peña Nieto tweeted back, this morning, we have informed the White House that I will not attend the meeting scheduled for next Tuesday with the President of the United States.
Fox's John Roberts, White House spokesman Sean Spicer downplaying the cancellation of that meeting with Mexico's president.
Mexican officials were here earlier this week, and I think we've mutually decided to postpone the meetings, but ensure that lines of communication remain open.
Spicer speaking aboard Air Force One, also saying that President Trump plans to pay for the border wall by slapping taxes on imports from Mexico. British Prime Minister Theresa May with some advice on how President Trump might deal with Russia.
We should engage with Russia from a position of strength, and we should build the relationships, systems and processes that make cooperation more likely than conflict.
The British Prime Minister addressing Republicans in Philadelphia. She will be meeting with President Trump in Washington tomorrow. Stocks closed mixed. The Dow edging up 32 points. S&P and NASDAQ each losing a point. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Pay fast with the Master Pass. Don't buy it. Master Pass it. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Simple and easy. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Don't buy it. Master Pass it. Pay fast with the Master Pass. Secure and so easy.
Master Pass, the simple, secure way to pay from MasterCard. Accepted at select merchants.
Don't buy it. Master Pass it.
How do you become America's best-selling brand?
Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape. That's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
Trump is expected to announce his Supreme Court nominee next week, the vice president offering some details.
But I can already tip you off. President Trump is going to keep his promise to the American people, and he's going to nominate a strict constructionist to the Supreme Court in the tradition of the late and great Justice Antonin Scalia.
Vice President Pence, speaking at the GOP retreat in Philly, also calling on Republican lawmakers to quickly act on the president's priorities. Tuition is going up at the University of California for the first time in 11 years. The Board of Regents voting to raise it by 2.5%. Fees are also being increased. Board members say the hikes are needed to maintain a high quality of education at the nation's largest public university system. Students have vocally opposed them. Charges are filed in connection with the shooting at Fort Lauderdale's airport that left 5 people dead.
A federal grand jury hands up a 22-count indictment against former Alaska National Guardsman Esteban Santiago, accused in the mass shooting at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. The charges include causing death and injuries at an airport and using a firearm in a violent crime. Santiago admits it was he who flew from Anchorage to Fort Lauderdale with a firearm, checked his luggage, and started shooting people at the bag claim. Investigators have alluded to online jihadi activity, but Santiago's family insists he's mentally ill. He'll be arraigned in federal court on Monday. Eben Brown, Fox News.
People are trying to cash in big on a McGiveaway after scooping up free bottles of McDonald's trademark special sauce in a promotion of new versions of the Big Mac. People are hawking them on eBay and other internet sites. They're asking hundreds, even thousands of dollars for them. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Need a furnace expert? Call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, overcast.
I need listeners to help me.
Okay.
I cannot find a mirror to put in my shower
for
shaving.
Okay.
Of course. I have been in stores and looked through the entire store, and I cannot find a mirror. So if anybody knows where you can find a mirror for shaving purposes, please, 359-2255.
Juan is using the text line.
For my personal agenda.
Personal use.
That is correct. It's the Tay and J Show.
Okay. Anyway, can I get to the weather?
Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. Mirrors needed.
Tonight, overcast, low at 26. Friday, overcast, high 30, low at 25. Saturday, overcast, high 31, low at 24. Right now, cloudy, 32 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
Tijon Lucas drove that car last night.
It is Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or you can visit them online at drivechampaign.com. Tay, this is where we recap the first 2 hours of the Tay and J Show.
Yeah, baby. We picked that ladder up. We opened it. We even put the one part down that secures it. I don't know what that little thing's called. And then we took 2 steps up that thing. Illinois gets it done against Iowa. Tijon Lucas gets to start, Jeremy, and I think that's important. I know we can sit here and talk about it. I know it was Iowa at home. You could have probably started Tracy Abrams and still beaten Iowa, but you started Tijon, and that team, I think it made a difference. They just looked like they flowed a little bit better with him. He ended up playing 27 minutes.
He's their best point guard. He has been for multiple games here since Tracy's had his downspurt. We talked about it. I just don't think Tracy's a point guard anymore. We talked about it. I thought Jeff Schroeder was great from the Metler Center with the injury report. He sees a guy that probably has the after effects of 2 catastrophic injuries, an ACL and an Achilles, where He's just worn out, and he needs more rest, and he's just not very explosive, and he's just not very confident.
No, he's not.
Right now, he did see one go through the hoop, but Tijon gets this team going. He's quicker. He's a better defender than Jalen or Tracy,
Yes,
both
he
the
is.
seniors. That's a testament to him.
Yes.
Because we knew he could pass, he could score a little bit, but that defense has made him a lot better. But yes, I thought that team was connected last night. Offensively, they moved the ball, 18 assists on 26 field goals. Everybody bought into it. Jalen Coleman-Lands was a good passer last night. Michael Finke had a heck of a game off the bench. I just thought it flowed, and I thought that's the offensive team we could see. Now, they didn't close out very well.
Right.
But I do think that's kind of what I expect out of this team. That's what I think this team is. It's a middle of the Big Ten team. It's not a team that goes on the road and gets blown out by 20 points. But so far they have done that.
They haven't shown us
and they're
any
lucky
different.
that Peter Jock was limited.
Right.
They're lucky that Bohannon was sick. All those things went in Illinois' favor. Otherwise, that would have been a much more competitive game, especially with the way they failed to close that run out until the very end.
I kind of got a chuckle here because Tracy Abrams, 5, 6 years old, two major injuries. Tijon's coming off a major injury as well, his senior year in high school, but he's young. Those kids can bounce back with that. The other thing, you mentioned defense with Tijon, and I agree there. You said everything you needed to. I thought Malcolm Hill did a great job last night with Peter Jock. Was Jock injured? Is he limited? Yes, there's no doubt about that. But I thought Malcolm Hill really had a mindset going into that game last night that, and you said it best in one of your articles, you're not just going to outscore Peter Jock. I'm going to try to shut him down. And I thought Malcolm was really effective on the defensive end. And in general, the entire team then seemed to be a little bit better defensively. And, like you said, that's leadership. That's Malcolm saying, hey, I'm going to bust my butt on this end. Maybe these other guys will see me doing that. But I loved how he got around screens. I loved how he busted it to take away passing lanes. That's the key for me. Take passing lanes away. That makes such a difference in a game when you do that.
Yeah, Finke is on fire. He's shooting 61% from the field during Big Ten play, 12 of 21 from 3.
Love it.
Need to get him the ball more. He's confident. Keep getting it to him. And I think with Coleman-Lands and with Tijon Lucas, he fits really well on that ball screen on that pick and pop game, or he can get to the rim a little bit. He had a couple runners last night that I really like seeing. So he's playing really well. That all said, this was a B- game.
No doubt.
From Illinois.
You didn't come out and blow them out like you did against Michigan. I think Michigan was like an A game.
No, you were 34. You were up 34-15. And to that point, you had your A game.
Yes.
Right? And you felt great. And you kind of rode that until the end. You didn't play a complete 40 minutes.
No.
Your defense wasn't great.
Nope.
Iowa missed some real opportunities to really cut that lead at the end. Felt like they could never get it to single digits, and when they did, Illinois answered. Tijon with a great pass to Finke for a 3. So Illinois did answer the bell, but do you feel any different?
No, I don't.
You won't until you go win on the road.
Yes.
And you got that opportunity on Saturday. And if you win there, all of a sudden you come home with the best chance you have at a marquee victory at home against Wisconsin. Then if you win that, I'm starting to be like, okay.
Well, they can maybe do something
now
here.
they're where we kind of thought they would be.
Right.
But that's 2 big steps ahead. To win on the road this team, you got to prove it.
You do.
And then you got to prove you can beat an NCAA tournament team because they probably haven't done that yet.
No, they haven't, and we'll see. But you're right. This week sets up perfectly for you to be able to do that. You've gotten a team at home that's not very good in Iowa. You did your job there. Now you go on the road against a team that's young with Penn State. You've got a chance. Let's take that ladder one step at a time here, Jeremy.
That's right.
Let's don't get ahead of ourselves and get to Wisconsin, but certainly a team, Penn State, maybe you could, athletic, but they're young, and we know how young teams can be.
Here's the thing. John Gross took a step forward with putting Tijon out there in the starting lineup. His rotations are still frustrating.
Yeah, they are.
When you have a 10-0 lead, you take Tijon out and Jalen Coleman-Lands. Both those guys who were playing well to start the game.
Why both?
For Tracy and Jalen.
Right.
And all of a sudden, Iowa should have made it 10-8 at that point.
Yeah.
But Illinois got a little lucky that Iowa missed an opportunity. But it kind of took the wind out of the sails. Finke got hot at one point. He hit a 3, and then John pulls him out. I get that they have their rotations in their head, but sometimes it feels like if a guy's hot, or the team's hot, let it go for a little bit.
And these kids are 18 to 22.
Let it go.
Tracy's a little bit older, but yeah, come on.
Let it go for a little. I understand you want to get guys rest before a media timeout. It maximizes those minutes, so you don't have to keep them off the court as long when you can use that media timeout. But at the same time, let those guys go a little bit.
Go.
Keep the rhythm going. I mean, he's got a 10-man rotation. They all played more than 10 minutes last night. I wouldn't mind if it went to 9.
I agree. I agree. I don't
Thorne
need to see
doesn't
Mike
play.
Thorne. I really don't. That's not. I love the kid, but that brought up a point. That would be excellent to ask a guy like Lou Henson or one of the guys that coached a long time ago before they had media timeouts. What the difference is with this? Like now, these kids have so much opportunity to rest.
For Dion tomorrow.
Dion, that'd be a great question for him.
He's a coach.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
and I don't think he had media timeouts at the JUCO level,
either.
right?
I doubt it. And did he even have it when he played here at Illinois?
Yeah.
I don't think they had him then. I know they didn't. I'm pretty sure. So it's one of those situations where it's like, it seems like these kids get plenty of rest.
Mm-hmm.
When you're breaking essentially every 4 minutes for 8, that's 8 times a game. 16, 12, 8, 4. It's like these kids get plenty of rest. Let them play more.
Well, can we do this again? I want to do this again. Who you buying more in the middle of this Big Ten?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to say Michigan State more than Illinois, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, Michigan's 3 and 4. Who you buying more, Illinois or Michigan?
Illinois. I just don't like Michigan's team.
I don't either.
And it's embarrassing that Illinois was getting blown out in Ann Arbor.
I don't either, but I'm siding with Beeline.
Okay, well, that's
so now I have Michigan ahead.
Fair enough.
Illinois,
I'm still going Illinois.
Illinois or Nebraska?
When does Morrow get back?
Join me. Join me on this Nebraska.
I'm going
that first
Illinois.
3 games is a little luck there.
I'm going Illinois.
Thank you. Illinois or Minnesota?
Nebraska's still got 2 good guards.
Minnesota's 3 and 5 in the Big Ten. They've lost 4 straight.
I know it.
Now they've had 3 road games during that.
They've
Michigan
had some
State,
tough games.
Penn State. They lost at home in overtime to Wisconsin, then lost at Ohio State.
I'm still buying Minnesota more.
Big game ahead for them. They got Maryland at home and then at Illinois.
Ooh.
So this is a big stretch for Minnesota,
It is.
who all of a sudden could be bubblicious here pretty quick. All right, Illinois, Ohio State.
Illinois.
I agree. Illinois, Penn State.
Can I tell you Monday?
No, tell me now. I'm going Illinois. Illinois, Iowa.
Illinois.
Illinois, Rutgers.
Illinois.
That would put Illinois 8th in the Big Ten right now.
Well, that's about right.
8th or 9th?
I mean, you've got them behind, the studs
that just
at the
tells,
top. And,
I mean, as bad as you feel about Illinois, there are 6 other Big Ten teams that feel that. You just wish you were there with Michigan State and Northwestern.
I agree. Well, as bad as you feel about Illinois, it's not as bad as you feel about an NBA team up north.
Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, we talked to Cody Westerland, and wow, Dwayne Wade, if you didn't hear this or didn't see anything about it, Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler came out after the game last night. Atlanta ended on a 19-2 run when the
last
Bulls
2
were up.
minutes.
Wow. And
Bulls
Dwayne
were up 10.
Wade and Butler came out and just ripped into teammates. It'll be interesting
ripped on
to see.
everybody but themselves.
Yeah.
And they should. I mean, they scored 73 points between them last night. And they barely shot it in the last 2 minutes.
Wow.
But I think it's a statement to all their teammates. I think it's a statement to the coach. I think it's a statement to the front office. That thing's a mess.
It is.
It's like the White Sox, and who's the key to all of that?
Yep.
Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner.
No doubt. There's
and
no doubt.
It's going to be an interesting year, but they do have a superstar in Jimmy Butler. So the future will be interesting of how they go about this. But what do you add? How do you add?
Right.
It's going to be interesting, but it's going to be quite a show.
It will be.
In the meantime.
It will be.
That's Drive Time presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com. Coming up next, let's talk some Oscar noms and some movies with Chuck Kaplinski of Chuck's Movie Picks.
Okay, and keep those coming in. It looks like Bed Bath & Beyond, the local choice to get a mirror, and also Duluth Trading Company for $14.95. It's a fog-free shower mirror.
Oh, man.
How about that for a Christmas gift?
That's a man mirror.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for sending those in. It is the Tay and J Show.
We're taking you out to the ball game to see the 2016 World Series champions. ESPN 93.5 is sending you on an all-expense-paid trip to Mesa, Arizona for Cubs spring training. So get out of the dugout and register to win now at Rosati's Pizza on Gregory and Urbana, Vapors E-Cigs LLC in Champaign, Danville, and Rantoul. Register today at Champaign Surplus in downtown Champaign, Honda BMW in Savoy, or at the U of I Meat Sales Room on Maryland Avenue in Urbana. The more you register, the more chances you have to win. Our Grand Slam Cubs spring training trip includes $1,000 cash in airfare or gas money. 3 nights at the Sheraton in Mesa, rental car included, exclusive post-game dinner with select players, tickets to 2 games, and custom Cubs merchandise. Don't take a rain check on this contest. Register now to win. Get rules, details, and a full list of registration locations at espncu.com. Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
It seems like in every home, there's at least one room that's either too hot or too cold. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Mitsubishi Electric has your comfort solution. Mitsubishi Electric cooling and heating systems are up to 40% more efficient with no ductwork and whisper quiet. Individual room control, giving you the freedom to find your perfect comfort level and save money too. Make your whole home comfortable again. See Lance Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for your comfort solution and live better.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Lands is your local Mitsubishi Electric Diamond dealer. Our technicians are experts at solving your comfort needs, one room or your whole house. Let us show you how a Mitsubishi Electric Heating and Cooling System can save you money now. Your comfort is our priority. Call Lands today at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
As the leader in fire protection and security systems for industrial, commercial, and residential buildings, Matco features exceptional protection. Matco installs, maintains, and inspects fire sprinklers, alarms, CCTV, security systems, and access-controlled systems. Their vigilance is a must-have priority to protect your assets. Matco's digital monitoring and veteran personnel are your best security investment. Their 24-hour emergency service ensures that you are covered at all times. Contact Matco at matcofire.com.
Hey, Rebecca. What have you heard about CU's Got Talent this year?
CU's Got Talent will be held Saturday, February 4th at the Refinery in Champaign. More acts, great food. It'll just be fun, plus a great cause.
How do I find out more?
Just go to the website, cugottalent.org. You can reserve seats, make donations, vote for talent, bid on silent auction items, and more. Remember, that's cugottalent.org.
Don't miss CU's Got Talent, Saturday, February 4th at the Refinery in Champaign.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant. But don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals. A nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
This is Van from Heel to Toe Shoes in downtown Urbana. Well, it's clearance sale time again. That time of year you've all been waiting for, when we slash the prices on the best shoes you're going to find around. 40% off, 75% off. Unbelievable deals on kids' shoes, women's shoes, men's shoes, warm boots, slippers, you name it. You can save big, but hurry on in. They go fast. Now through the end of January, the clearance sale at Heel to Toe Shoes.
Sprint by Wireless Revolution. Do you live in Urbana? Visit the Sprint store on the corner of Philo and Florida for your new device, and we'll transfer all of your photos, contacts, and other important data from your old phone. Also, come see Sprint by Wireless Revolution in North Champaign at Center Court and Marketplace Mall. Let them set up your new phone or tablet while you get your shopping done. Or, if you're on North Prospect, visit the only Sprint mobile device service center in town, located next to Starbucks. They can help you find a new phone or fix your old one. Sprint by Wireless Revolution. Local, convenient, and serving our community since 2011.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Latte, Jeremy Warner. Yesterday, we had former Illini football player Joe Spencer manning the second mic. Today, we're calling in Chuck Kaplinski. Did you ever play offensive line in your life, Chuck?
I was 11, and I had a friend of mine from across the street, talk to me and go out for football. And I just played baseball.
Yeah.
And for some odd reason, they put me on offensive. I was the offensive end. I was a little bit taller than everyone.
Yeah.
An absolute disaster. An absolute disaster. I swear to God, I think that the opposing coaches figured this out, and I swear all the plays were running in that direction. And I'm like, this is not what I thought it would be.
Right. Chuck Kaplinski, Chuck's Movies Picks. We're going to talk all about the Oscar nominations. I don't think I've ever asked you this. We're a sports show. What's your favorite sports movie?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's
tough.
No, it's really, I mean,
no, that's a great question.
Like, I always have like a top five. It's hard to pick one.
You love The Horse, the
Seabiscuit's
Seabiscuit's a great film. I love baseball, so I got to go with Bull Durham.
Yeah.
And I even referenced that today. I was like, you're lollygagging. Come on, kid. You're a lollygagging, kids. Let's go. Yeah, that one just seems to, that I love because of the realism of it, but then, of course, I love the natural because of the mythical element of it. I mean, there's your either end of your baseball movies.
Yeah, big time. Can a funny show like that be one of the all-time greats?
Sure.
So funny can win in that category.
Oh,
because I love funny.
Yeah. I think they do these lists every once in a while on ESPN. These movie lists, and they usually have Hoosiers at the top, which you can't really argue with that either.
Yes.
But Bull Durham's usually in the top 5 or 10.
That's cool.
Oh yeah,
that's
completely.
cool.
See, Hoosiers to me, maybe because I'm younger.
Yeah.
Maybe it felt
just didn't do it to you.
Overrated for me.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
It was one of the first of its kind.
You might want to watch it as you walk to your car tonight.
I know.
You just had a kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably, a little sleep deprived, maybe more emotional. Yeah, watch it now.
That's probably it.
You'd be crying.
Well, what did you think? I mean, the Best Picture nominees, we get what, 8 or 9?
Got 9.
9 of these this year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Who's the favorite for this? And did you think they got them right?
They got them as right as they could. I mean, and it's been great since they've opened it up. I mean, it used to be you can only nominate 5. But now that they've opened it up to where you can get at least 10 in there, usually you're not going to overlook anything now. Obviously, La La Land has the momentum. I mean, 14, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, as much as I like that film, it's out of hand. I mean,
do they favor musicals?
I don't like musicals.
Yeah.
Or do you say they?
The Oscars, because Chicago was a big one.
That's
you know
true.
what? I think anymore they do because they're so rare.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be they'd make them all the time in the 40s and 50s.
Yep.
Now you get a big one every 4 or 5 years. So whenever one comes along that's halfway decent, they, kind of anoint it. Les Miserables got by without getting anything, but it was nominated for everything. I think that they like to maybe recognize it because it is becoming a forgotten format.
Okay.
But for this film to be nominated for Best Costuming? Okay, that shows you just what momentum this thing has. Okay, there's no way.
I haven't seen it.
Well, they went to the Gap, I think. Okay. you look at this thing and say, yeah, I think I could have done that.
Yes.
But that's what happens when a film or anything in life gains momentum. It just sweeps everything in its path.
How is a movie nominated for Best Picture? That might be the dumbest question that anybody's ever asked.
No, that's a great question because, as I say, it used to be just 5.
Okay.
And they changed things after The Dark Knight. I don't know if you remember, that was not nominated. And everyone was up in arms like, how could you not nominate that film, which I thought was the best film of the year? Here's what they do. You've got about 6,800 members of the Academy.
Okay.
5% of those people have to put on their ballot La La Land was the best movie of the year. So that's about 340 people.
Okay.
So you have to have at least 340 members say this movie was the best for it to get a nomination. So 9 movies got at least 340
I did not know that.
Okay. A 10th, if there was a 10th that had at least 340, they'd have thrown that one in too. But yeah, no, this is only a change about the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
First place that's like a first place Hall of Fame vote.
Completely.
First place guy.
Yeah.
So which one do you think stand out the most, in your opinion, if you voted for this?
Oh, well, Hell or High Water was my favorite film of the year, so that would get my, my thing. Oh, great. That's even better. And also I loved Arrival. I love that film. Those two are great. I guess the big omission was, speaking of Arrival, was Amy Adams.
Mm-hmm.
She was the one that got overlooked this year. There's always a couple, and that one really stood out. But It's really an eclectic group when you stop and look at it. I mean, there's really not a comedy there, though.
No, there's not.
And that's always the thing with the Oscars. They always overlook comedies.
And that's kind of why I asked you that question, is can a comedy be one of the best movies?
It's rare.
Ever? Okay.
It's rare. But if you stop and think about it, was there one that was overlooked this year? Maybe Florence Foster Jenkins, but other than that, I can't think of one.
Interesting.
So I think more than all, they did get them right.
Yeah. Well, Chuck, I told you I'm a new father, so I'm not going to see a new movie in the theater. My wife did let me go see Rogue One. So
there we go. That's a keep. She's a keeper.
Yeah, I definitely knew that. But was this a strong year for movies?
I thought it was. I mean, the last 2 years, I always do a top 10 list. In the last 2 years, I had a hard time honestly finding 10 that I thought, yes, I can really stand behind. This year, no. I mean, that was a solid year, and you could always find something out there to watch throughout the year. Usually there's those fallow periods where, boy, there's nothing worth seeing. This year, though, it was pretty consistent.
Okay.
Much better than last year. So, yeah, it was a solid film. I mean, you got a World War II movie on there.
Yeah.
And that's also pretty rare, too. Those have gotten out of vogue.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a lot of great variety there.
I like that Hacksaw Ridge.
Casey Affleck's been one of my favorite actors for a while. I mean, he's just subtly had some great films, kind of in the shadow of his brother. Now, I know the issues around his nomination, with some of the rumors about him
in the past.
Yeah, about him. But is he the favorite for this Best Actor? Should he get it, or who else do you think does?
He shouldn't get it, but he's the favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, he's won everything leading up to this.
Okay.
He gives a very good performance. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, when you look at the hype and you look at other people have written comparing him to Brando and things, it's like, wait a second. Let's put the brakes on here. He does a good job, but I don't think it's one of those things where it's an all-time great performance. But he will be the winner. And that's part of the problem with the Oscars. They have a real problem, and I don't know if they've figured out how to solve it. And that is that it's become anticlimactic. Mm-hmm. Before this even shows up, we've had the Golden Globes, the Broadcast Film Critics Association, the Screen Actors Guild, everyone has already named their nominees. They've already named their winners. And now they're just going to follow suit and basically name the same films. I remember when I was growing up, there was none of that stuff. Right. And you woke up and you turn on and they were all surprises.
Got it.
Now it's all anticlimactic.
That's interesting.
And I can fix this if they would call me. I've got an idea, but they never call me.
Chuck Kaplinski's our guest. Chuck's movie picks. You can follow Chuck on Twitter. I do at C Kaplinski. Before we get to actress, is there an actor out there? And I can't think of the lady's name that forever from a soap opera that never won a
Susan Lucci.
I was going to say Susan Sarandon. I'm like, I know that's not right. Susan Lucci. Is there an actor out there that is kind of that guy that has never won Best Actor but really should have?
Well, it was Leonardo DiCaprio until last year.
That's right.
Until last year. Basically, it's funny you say that. I just mentioned Amy Adams. Mm-hmm. They said earlier Amy Adams is now that person.
Okay.
Because they thought she was going to get nominated this year, and she's not going to win. But yeah, she's the one. She's got 4 or 5 nominations already and is not one. So everyone's kind of waiting on her now.
So Denzel has won before, right?
He's won twice.
Okay.
Yes.
How many times did Meryl? Only once, right?
3.
3?
She's won 3, and she set a record with her 20th nomination.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
But you got to remember, Katharine Hepburn has the record with 4, and all 4 of hers were as a leading actress. Streep had 1 supporting, and the other 2 were lead.
I don't know how you remember all this. I guess this is what you do.
Yeah, this is my brand of useless information. You guys have batting average and scoring. We all have our thing.
I love it. Okay, Best Actress. Who do you like in that one?
You know what? I thought it was going to be Natalie Portman, and I still kind of do.
Okay.
But again, the La La Land momentum could push Emma Stone in there. But Natalie Portman's great. That film is playing up at the Art Theater right now.
Oh, okay.
And boy, is she fantastic.
That's like the one I've really wanted to see.
Yeah.
Out of all these movies, just seeing her as Jack, it's eerie because she seems to play it off really well.
Yeah, and it is frightening. And I watched it, and then I went back on YouTube and found some archival footage of Miss Kennedy, and boy, she really did her homework.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And Ryan Gosling's in La La Land, so every
Emma
female's like,
Stone.
I'm in. Emma Stone in back.
Combine these two, actor and actress supporting category. Right. Who do you think had the best supporting of all of these, men and women?
You mean who gave the best?
Yeah.
You know what? I've always felt that the best supporting actor, sorry about that, is always the most interesting category. It always leaves a few people out, and you always have these veterans in there who have won before, and there's not a loser there. And that's what's always so interesting, because then you look at it and it's like, wow, I can't believe, how do you pick?
Yeah.
Because for me, it's Jeff Bridges. But then again, you look at
awesome.
Mahershala Ali from Moonlight, it's like, yeah, wow, he He did a great job, too. And the one problem I have with that list is Dev Patel from Lion.
Yeah. Okay.
He was a one-note performance, Blue. I didn't like him at all.
Yeah.
Hugh Grant was overlooked there for Florence Foster. He should have been in there.
Jeff Bridges is awesome. He's grown on me. Like, for instance, the older he gets, maybe the older I get, I admire him more and think he's a better actor now.
You know what? It's funny. He can be hammy.
Yeah.
But it's never too much. Yeah. He somehow has found that line.
He's found the line.
You know, and you watch him in anything.
Best director? What do you think of that one?
Well, that one usually goes with Best Picture. Those things usually go hand in hand, but this year may be an exception. I'm thinking Barry Jenkins from Moonlight. Okay. Because everyone likes that movie, and they're going to want to throw it a bone. And it's funny, this is the guy's first movie.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Does that happen very often?
Not very often. The last time this happened, I remember, was John Singleton for Boys in the Hood.
Okay.
First movie nominated, and he was only 24.
Wow. That's cool.
How about animated?
Animated.
Are there too many animated movies now?
Well, what's interesting about the anime, when you look at the animated thing, there's at least 2 titles there you probably don't recognize.
Right.
And here's another thing about how all this voting goes, okay? During the nomination process, actors nominate actors. Directors nominate directors. Animators nominate animated films. Okay. So the guys who are in animation know about movies and have seen movies we're not aware of. I think there's something there called the Red Turtle.
Yeah.
And My Life is Broccoli.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
That's
the heck are
zucchini.
those? My zucchini. Sorry, I got my vegetables mixed up there. So that's neat because you've got people, animators who know what's going on, and they're recognizing work that wouldn't otherwise be recognized, which is cool. But then here's where the problem comes in. Once you vote for the final Oscars, everybody votes for everything.
Yeah.
So in animation, you're going to get the one that has made the most money is probably going to win because that's going to be the one that most of the members have seen.
Okay.
So that would be Moana.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look at this list and I got to ask about my boy. Is Justin Timberlake going to win an Oscar?
What?
Can't Stop the Feeling, Best Original Song? Come on.
Nice.
So how many copies?
I didn't even know that.
You know what? And that's always a cool category too because they usually nominate a veteran rock and roller guy, and they get Springsteen to come and they give him an Oscar. You get Elton John to come and and it's always strange to see those people a little bit out of their element. Yeah. I remember Springsteen said after he won, he said, "Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me to your party." I mean, well, no, thanks for coming, Bruce. I don't think we have a veteran rocker this year, but I think the guy from Hamilton.
Yeah. Okay.
He's going to be your winner, and I heard the other day he's going to be the first, the youngest EGOT. You know what an EGOT is?
No.
A person who wins an Emmy, a Grammy, a Tony, and an Oscar.
Holy cow.
He'll be the youngest member of that group if he wins.
You also have, I think this is really interesting for sports fans, the best documentary feature, O.J. Made in America, was powerful.
You know, and some people said that should have been nominated for Best Picture.
I couldn't disagree with
that. It's unreal.
I think that because of its length, not enough people watched it.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a stunning piece of work. You know, there are things you could say in this year, sure things. That one more than any. I mean, that one, it's money in the bank.
Yeah.
Is there any of these categories that even you were like, okay, like best sound editing? Do you ever is that when you get up and go get another beer?
No, because every year I'm trying to figure it out.
Right.
Last year they did it, and they always usually come up with some neat thing on the show to try and show us an example of the difference between best sound and best editing. And I'm like, I usually get, but see, that's the thing that what I mean about voting for these. You should just have the sound people voting for these Oscars.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. I don't know.
Have the experts
Sounded
do
good.
it. Yeah. Right. But again, I think La La Land is nominated in both.
Yes.
It'll probably win because everyone's on the La La Land.
Yeah. Best sound editing and best sound mixing.
Yeah. So
that is interesting.
So what does 2017 have ahead, Chuck? What are going to be the big movies we got here?
Oh, boy. I was afraid you were going to ask me that. Well, there's always the superhero films, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Are we? I mean, those are doing so well. They're not going away. There's so many of them.
There are. Well, there are now that DC has their toe in the water. I'm really looking forward to Wonder Woman. I really think, I hope they get that right.
Yeah.
You know,
it's kind of important
DC,
they do, right?
I think it is.
I hope the chick that plays her is hot, right? Because, Wonder Woman is just hot.
So you haven't seen Batman vs. Superman?
No.
Good for
She's
you
in it.
Haven't.
She's in it, huh?
She's in it. She's the best part of the film.
Oh.
I tried to watch that the other day, Chuck.
You didn't like it?
I couldn't follow.
Did you
what they
make
were
it to
trying
Wonder
go
Woman?
With there.
Yeah,
I did.
Okay.
And she was the best part.
She's the best part of the film. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Like her character was actually the best part.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Then I'll go see it.
But yeah, it's going to be more of the same. More superhero films, more big budget science fiction, and That's what sells.
Yeah.
And we'll have to wait for, quality stuff at the end of the year like we usually do. I should say more adult stuff, not quality stuff.
Is there fantasy, we do fantasy sports. Is there like a fantasy thing for Oscars? Like, do you get with your buddies and bet anything?
No,
Okay.
no. I'm the only nerd I know, so no, I got nothing like that. Maybe I should.
We did have a question come in, and we could have addressed this when we were talking about for the Best Picture, but it says, ask Chuck when he can recall the Best Picture nominees having revenues under $100 million at the time of being nominated. I think this may be unprecedented. I guess what they are saying is every one of these movies had that?
At this moment, every one of these films is under $100 million.
Wow.
Hidden Figures is going to get past that $100 million mark, I think, this week.
Okay.
And, even more interesting as the listener points out, you're talking about 9 movies. Used to be just 5 that would be under 100 or whatever the mark was then. You've still got 9.
Wow.
So that is an interesting thing. I can't recall when it happened. I do remember one thing, though, the year when Avatar and Hurt Locker were nominated both for Best Picture. You had, Avatar, which set the record as the most money, and I believe Hurt Locker set the record for least money made for the winner, because that won Best Picture.
Okay.
So there is sometimes a great disparity, but they usually always like to nominate at least one hit, and Hidden Figures is that this year. I mean, how else do you explain Ghost being nominated in 1990? Give me a break.
Is that a concern then, that people aren't going to movies as much to get something like that, or am I looking way too much into
The
that?
theory is that the Oscars always want as many people to tune in as possible.
Okay.
So you want to have a couple movies in there that they've seen. You don't want them to turn and say, "What is I never heard of that."
That's
artsy fart. You always want to have a couple favorites in there.
Fair enough.
Chuck, they always have the in memoriam for this. Who do you think they end with? Gene Wilder, Carrie Fisher?
Wow.
I mean, there's some powerful ones.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the guy in charge of editing that thing.
No doubt.
Because it was, especially if you were doing the Grammys, I think they had a worse year as far as music personalities. But this year as well, even with film.
Kirk Douglas too, right?
No, he's still alive.
Oh, he's still alive? Okay.
He celebrated his 100th birthday.
I looked up celebrity deaths and Kirk Douglas is...
Oh, no!
Did it happen today? I would probably Carrie Fisher because of the current nature of it, probably.
Yeah.
And it's just going to hit a chord with that generation. But
I mean, we all remember as Princess Leia. Is there anything else we all overlook?
Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Now, if you remember, she was in the Blues Brothers.
That's right.
She's chasing him around with a machine gun because Jake broke her heart. Let's see. When Harry Met Sally, she's got a nice little part there. But I never realized until she passed away how many scripts she doctored without getting credit, uncredited, just coming in and punching things up because people knew her talent.
Now,
Gene Wilder for me.
Oh, man.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is one of my favorite movies, not just a kid movie. Like I still think that movie is funnier now as an adult.
It's not a kid's movie.
No, it's not.
No, not at all.
There's some psychedelic things going on in there. There's some innuendo. I mean, that is and Young Frankenstein, of course.
Oh, God. Too. Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
That 10-year run he had from producers in through the 70s, I mean, almost unprecedented for a comedic actor.
Right.
I mean, the comedic actors tend to fade a little bit quicker, but boy, he had a nice run there.
Jeremy knows this because I was born on October 9th of 1970, and Matt Damon was born October 8th of 1970, so Matt Damon's my favorite actor. Do you have a favorite actor and actress?
Eastwood.
Okay.
Eastwood, and I love Clooney.
Yeah, hard to go wrong there.
Yeah, Clooney strikes me as old school because I grew up in the movies of the 30s and 40s because that's all my dad ever had on the air. And he just always reminded me of Cary Grant or Clark Gable. I met Clooney once, and I told him this story. True story. I had Gunga Din on one night. Gunga Din has Cary Grant and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. and adventure film from 1939. And my stepson wanders in. He was about 12 at the time. And he says, "What's this?" And I said, "That's an adventure movie. It's kind of cool. Sit down." So, surprisingly, he sat down and watched the film. I was stunned. And we wrap it up, and it's at the end. And I said, "What'd you think?" He said, "It's pretty good." He said, "I didn't know George Clooney made black and white movies."
Wow.
And when I met Clooney, I told him that story.
That is cool.
I told him that story, and he said, "Oh, Cary Grant must have rolled over in his grave when he said that."
That probably meant a lot to him, actually, to be compared to
He did make one, Good Night and Good Luck.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
One of my favorite movies.
That's right. That is cool. I wondered if you had like a favorite on that.
Do you have like a younger actor you think could be the next of that?
Wow. Now, that's a good question. I do love Gosling. I really do, because he is learning to be still.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing with any film actress. If you look at someone like Dennis Quaid early in his days, he was just kind of all over the place. And he has learned how to be still.
Okay.
You don't have to do much on a film screen. You just have to have presence. And Kevin Bacon has learned that too. Somehow or another, Kevin Bacon has become the new Clint Eastwood. Watch him in his recent films. He's very still, but you can't take your eyes off him.
Interesting.
And one of my favorite films of the last decade is Drive.
Yeah.
I thought he was incredible in that. And I was like, yep, I want to watch this guy, see what happens in the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. And you know what his next film is? He's going to be playing John Glenn.
Oh, cool.
They had a biography last year called First Man.
He kind of looks, I can see that.
The same director as La La Land.
Okay.
Directing, he's going to be John Glenn. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Who's the dude that drives around in the Cadillac? Matthew McConaughey. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. No. Lincoln's, yeah.
Yeah, or Lincoln. I'm sorry. Well, that's a shout out to Cadillac. Is he in Gold, right?
Yes, it comes out tomorrow.
Is he getting kind of typecast? What was the last one he did? He was the bull rider that had AIDS, right?
Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah, I mean, are those similar roles? Maybe not even close.
Not really. I think what he's doing is because I think he's tired of being regarded as the pretty boy.
Yeah.
And he's trying to diversify because with Dallas Buyers Club, he drops to about 130 pounds.
Yeah,
he was
bad.
skeletal.
Oh.
In Gold, which comes out tomorrow, he put on 40 pounds. He shaved his head.
Maybe that's what it is.
He shaved his head, and they've got this, that awful horseshoe thing going, and he's got a dental appliance.
Wow.
I think he's trying to get away from his looks and show people, look, I can act. And he is a good actor.
Yeah.
He's never had anything to prove as far as I was concerned.
Right.
And Gold is an okay movie, but he's great. He's the only reason we're seeing him. He's fantastic in the film.
That's interesting.
Awesome. It's always a good time. Chuck's Kaplinski, Chuck's Movies Picks. We always appreciate it. What do you do for Oscar night?
Oh, big pot of chili. Tell everyone to shut up. This is my one night. Be quiet.
That is great.
Can't be quiet. Go downstairs.
Kids, shut up. That is awesome. Great stuff, Chuck. We always appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Great stuff. All right, we'll wrap things up when we return. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hey guys, Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show, and for this Illinois basketball season, we have a brand new show on ESPN 93.5 called The 200 Level. Ride the roller coaster with myself and Steve Breitweiser each Monday night at 6, right after the Tay and J Show, every Monday through the NCAA tournament. The 200 Level is brought to you by DP Doe, Shambana Sales, Chief Bauer Service Experts, and Heiser Allstate Agency. The 200 Level, Monday nights at 6, beginning January 9th, only on ESPN 93.5 and streaming online at espncu.com. Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
ILLINI. Cheer on the Illini at Pia's. The pregame fun starts at Pia's Sports Bar and Grill. Pia serves up its famous 10-ounce Slugger Burger along with great wings and so much more. Enjoy 350 22-ounce light and course light drafts every home and away Illini game. Watch the game at Pia's or ride the free shuttle to all home games. You'll find it all at Pia's with live video gaming, sports, food, drinks, and fun. See you at Pia's, West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
This is Chuck Lee with Provident Financial Group. Are you getting the attention you deserve from your broker? When you partner with Provident, you get an advisor who stays focused on you and your family. We work for you. Contact us today to schedule a consultation. Securities advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Join the Bloomington Edge indoor football team at the U.S. Cellular Coliseum for their first game of the year, Sunday, February 26th. Don't miss all the exciting football action as the Edge take on the Tri-Town Titans. The Bloomington Edge indoor football team invites you to come out early on February 26th for the Edge Fan Fest starting at 3 p.m. in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Bloomington. Meet the players, win free prizes, then get ready for exciting indoor football. Get season tickets or buy single game tickets at bloomingtonedge.net or call 484-840-EDGE.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group.
Are you getting the attention you deserve from your broker? When you partner with Provident, you get an advisor who stays focused on you and your family. We work for you. Contact us today to schedule a consultation. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Versabar, a world leader in the development of heavy lifting solutions, is a proud sponsor of the Mike Ditka Show. Versabar is also a proud supporter of the University of Illinois and the College of Civil and Environmental Engineering, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Unity Rockets. To learn more about Versabar, just go to www.vbar.com. That's www.vbar.com. Versabar, the power of engineering delivered. It's Andre Davis. He's the detective of Champaign Police Department. He's our law enforcement official of the month who never knows what a day holds, right? You go to work and you don't know what's up.
You know what? I make plans, and a lot of times those plans get scrapped.
And it's not an 8 to 5 job. It's not, you don't know when you're working, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you ever fear for your life?
Out every day. Yeah, but that fear keeps you alive. It keeps you safe. It keeps your beat partners and your partners safe. You know, the greatest honor that I can have is to bring my partners home every day and night and say, hey, we've wrapped this day up again. Let's get up and do it again tomorrow.
Congratulations. You're the man. I'm very impressed with you. I really appreciate your work. Stay safe. God bless you. Thank you for serving and protecting us.
Thank you, Stevie J. It's
really
been an honor
appreciate
and a pleasure.
You betcha. That is Detective Andre Davis. Wow. Very impressive. Law Enforcement Official of the Month brought to you by Hickory River Smokehouse. There's nothing better. At 1706 North Cunningham in Urbana. Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Good stuff today. Cody Washington about the Bulls, Brad Sturdy about Illinois, the big win last night, and Chuck Kaplinsky, Chuck's movies picks. When are the Oscars?
I'm
putting you on the spot. Oh, they're not until March.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's just...
You're putting me on the spot.
The nominations just came out. Yes. That's why. Okay, that's my fault. I don't know.
Anyway, we saved the big guns for last one.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Let's get to the Jupiters crossing phone line. Bring on Kent Brown.
Yeah, the tall one.
Illinois Associate Athletic Director. What's going on, Kent?
Guys, how are you tonight? But you know what? I need to bust Lon's chops a little bit.
Okay.
I know it's really hard to do. So I'm listening a while ago, and you guys are talking about substitutions and all that stuff. I get it. And you were going to ask Dion Lon made it sound like Dion played before television because he said, "I don't even think there were television timeouts when Dion played." I mean.
Did they have
not that old?
Yes. I know, but did they have TV timeouts when he played?
Of course they did.
I don't remember that. Like they are now regimented.
I was too young, so I just let him die on that sword. So.
I swear to God. So they had regimented 16, 12, 8, and 4 back then.
Correct.
I had no idea that was that old. Because we are old.
Well, television has been around for a long time, Lon, and games have been played on there for a long time too. I don't know.
Unbelievable.
You used to work in the TV business. I understand, but
you
were on the other side of the camera.
We should have Kent on the end of every show to tell us what we did wrong.
Rip me.
Yeah, I like this.
I didn't realize Bob Cousy was getting 8-minute timeouts there back in the day.
Well,
that's funny.
Kent, we've had you on the show plenty of times, and there's always announcements that you can always give us some news for. I don't think you've been as pumped to announce one as this one.
Yeah, you know what? We talked about this in my office. I said, this is one I feel like I got to take on myself.
I love it.
I'll do it, guys.
Okay.
I'll do it.
So we're very excited about the World Championship, the World Series trophy. This is day 85 as World Series champions.
Oh my
the Chicago Cubs. Hey, Lon, there's only 66 more days till first.
That's fantastic. Good, because then we can stop talking about this World Series title, right?
Yeah, but on February 4th, a week from Saturday, we're going to get a chance to have the trophy at State Farm
That's
Center.
Awesome.
The Cubs announced a couple nights ago, some information that it was coming on the 4th, and yet we didn't really have many details on it yet. And so today we spent a big part of the day working on logistics and how it was all going to work out. Right. And so that's the Minnesota game. and obviously State Farm is the sponsor of the trophy tour.
Cool.
And with State Farm Center being the arena here, they certainly wanted to be a part of this one. This is where they wanted one of the stops to be. So that's a 3:00 tip-off against the Gophers. And so we're going to have a time block before the game from 1:30 to 3:00 where fans who are coming to the game can have a chance to see the trophy. And,
That's cool.
you know, many, not everybody probably, will have a chance to get their picture taken with it. So we have an entrance, the southwest entrance to the arena will be where fans will start queuing up. And at 1:30 we're going to open the doors and bring people through and have them a chance to get their picture taken and until about 3:00. So we're going to hand out wristbands to 500 people, and if time allows, we're going to get more people through there as quick as we can, so as many people can see it as possible.
That's cool. I think you ought to have to be able to hit like a 3-pointer.
Kent, do you need a game ticket to see this?
You do need a game ticket. Okay. Yeah, and that's one of the things we talked about. Internally, how that. You want as many people, obviously, to see it as possible, but they've had it at several events already where you had to have a ticket to get inside to see it. And it's been actually at a couple of games. It was at the University of Iowa and I think also Notre Dame at games, but they didn't have the ability for anybody to have their pictures taken with it. It was only brought in and presented, to the fans on the floor during the game, so they didn't have a chance to do that. So at least we have an opportunity here for as many fans as possible to get their picture taken with it. But you do have to have a ticket. Once you're in the State Farm Center, then you're in for the game.
Okay.
You won't be able to leave again.
So that could be a long day for somebody, but it'd be worth it because you're going to get your hopefully get your picture taken with it. That's awesome.
Well, normally the doors open about an hour before game time.
Yeah, so it's not
this
too
is
bad.
an hour and a half.
Okay.
So, fans, this is a great chance to watch the new video board. There's all kinds of new stuff. We got 2 new big auxiliary boards on the side and chance for people to check out the State Farm Center and watch, check out the new video boards too.
How many World Series games did Kent Brown get to?
I got to 1.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like we turned it around. It was Game 5. 1 in Chicago. I got that thing, the ship righted, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited about it. A lot of our the people who work with my friends who work within the department were up at the United Center earlier this year when we played BYU and the trophy was there, and had a chance to take their picture with it and see it. And so this is maybe my opportunity to do that. And so looking forward to it, and hope our fans do too. Hopefully we get as many people through there as possible. And during the game, obviously during one of the timeouts, we're going to bring it out on the floor. And so everybody will have a chance to see it out there as well.
Even Cardinal fans, like me, I am happy for guys like you, Kent, that you got to win the World Series. So I'm happy for you. Hey,
well, I appreciate that, Lon.
Last thing, in the middle of winter, you're going to have spring football. What in the world's going on with that? No, that's coming up, Kent. What will be like for fans? How will spring ball work for maybe fans being able to get a chance to see some of that?
Yeah, there's a couple things. Actually, next Wednesday we've got our first. It's the first signing class, signing day and you guys have talked about recruiting a lot, obviously, but we do have an event next Wednesday at the Alice Campbell Alumni Center there on Lincoln Avenue from 6 to 7 o'clock. Lovey and Josh Whitman and the other assistant coaches will be part of a program that they're going to talk a little bit about this class, obviously, and be there to answer questions that fans have to offer. And so the doors are open at 6 o'clock for that. And then, 2 weeks will go from there, and then all of a sudden it'll be February 14th. It'll be the first day of spring/winter practice, and we're still working a little bit on details on a fan event. I think we're looking at something towards the end of the practice session in March, probably in early March, to have a fan event and do the best we can. Probably going to be at the indoor facility. But, there's still a lot of details to be worked out. If the weather's nice, that could all shift. So hopefully we'll have at least one day that'll be open to the fans that they'll get a chance to see the team.
That's fantastic. Kent, thanks for the information, buddy. I'm sorry that I'm ripping on poor Dion thinking he's that old back in the day.
I just may start calling in every day.
Please do.
Maybe
I think we could make this a segment. I really do. It's Rip on Lawn segment. I think it'd be awesome. Hey, Kent, thank you so much. Have fun with that trophy, my friend.
Hey, you guys have a great evening.
All right, buddy. Kent Brown, that would be a heck of a just ripping on me for.
By the way, do you want to add to this bowl story before we get out of here?
Yes.
Rajon Rondo on Instagram just said, my vets would never go to the media. They would come to the team. My vets didn't pick and choose when they wanted to bring it. They brought it every time they stepped in the gym, whether it was practice or a game. They didn't take days off. My vets didn't care about their numbers. My vets played for the team. When we lost, they wouldn't blame us. They took responsibility and got in the gym. They showed the young guys what it meant to work. Even in Boston, when we had the best record in the league, if we lost a game, you could hear a pin drop on the bus. They showed us in the seriousness of the game. My vets didn't have an influence on the coaching staff. They couldn't change the plan because it didn't work for them. I played under one of the greatest coaches. He held everyone accountable. It takes 1 through 15 to win.
Wow.
When you isolate everyone, you can't win consistently. I may be a lot of things, but I'm not a bad teammate. My goal is to pass along what I learned. The young guys work. They show up. They don't deserve blame. If anything is questionable, it's and I don't know.
Holy cow.
I think Rajon Rondo's right.
Yes. Dude, this thing may blow up.
Who'd have thought? Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal to watch this thing.
When's the next Bulls game? That might be
must-watch television.
Must-watch TV.
Thanks to Cody Westerland. He talked Bulls. Brad Sturdy talked Alana, and Chuck Kaplinski, Chuck's Movies Picks. And thanks to Kent Brown, Associate Athletic Director at Illinois. Miss today's show, get the podcast, ESPNCU.com, or find us on iTunes.
Great
That's
stuff.
all powered by GTPS Insurance. Thanks to our intern, Tyler Knight.
Tomorrow's Friday. Is Carp going to be here?
Think so.
I think so, too. So we may have a 5 at 5.
Triumvirate.
All right. We'll have some fun. You know that on a Friday. We'll see everybody then. It is the Tay and J Show.
Having fun on a Friday.
Nice.
The Upper Bout in Champaign, a music store with a different kind of attitude. Their showroom features high-quality brands from Gibson, Martin, and Taylor guitars to Vox, Mesa Boogie, and Analog Outfitters amplifiers. The Upper Bout's expert staff will personalize your experience, answering every question and setting up your guitar exactly the way you want it. Whether you're a lifelong musician looking to add to your collection or a lifelong music fan looking to buy your first guitar and take up lessons, The Upper Bout has you covered. Stop by The Upper Bout on Neal Street in Champaign, next to El Toro, or visit them online at theupperbout.com.
This is Van from Heel to Toe Shoes in downtown Urbana. Well, it's clearance sale time again. That time of year you've all been waiting for when we slash the prices on the best shoes you're going to find around. 40% off, 75% off. Unbelievable deals on kids' shoes, women's shoes, men's shoes, warm boots, slippers. You name it, you can save big. But hurry on in. They go fast. Now through the end of January, the clearance sale at Heel to Toe Shoes.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.